Don't text me in the middle of the official Fight Hype live theme song from the illustrious, elaborate headquarters in Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't text me when we do this very well thought out intro that we do time and again, about 75% of the time on each Fight Hype live. Today, Tony Bellew versus David Haye 2. No, wait a minute, just kidding. It's Chris Eubank versus Liam Smith 2. But it'll probably look a lot like the rematch between David Haye and Tony Bellew. A futile rematch, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all the critics are wrong, and Chris Eubank, under the guise of Brian McIntyre, fresh off a dominant performance in the corner of Terrence Crawford. Maybe Chris Eubank, who's not really a big underdog tonight, only about plus 160, despite getting knocked out in a few rounds months ago in their first fight. Chris Eubank not actually a big underdog tonight. Still a little bit taller, longer, definitely the more athletic fighter, Chris Eubank Jr., but, Callum Smith, more fundamentally sound, a little bit tougher, and, as the fight goes on, you expect it, the more rounds it goes, that Smith's pressure can find more and more success, but maybe Eubank, who did get hit with an elbow, but was already kind of on his way to going down for at least the first time in that fight, got hit with a couple of good shots before that left hook followed by an elbow took him out of the fight, but we'll see what we get tonight in the UK in the rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith. What's up, chat? What's up, Fight Hype Live? What's up, everybody? Only about 45 people in here. It's a big domestic spat, yeah. Big fight overseas in Commonwealth, but not the biggest here. I haven't been around enough Brits lately, the last several months covering fights in the United States, so my British accent is beginning to fade, but yeah, there we go. This is a big fight for Bomac and Chris as School of Skills. I don't know how much success any trainer, even a good trainer like Bomac, can really have, how significant of an improvement he can have with a fighter in just a number of weeks, but we'll see. I know Chris Eubank trained plenty of times in the top-ranked gym, and Bomac would obviously be in the top-ranked gym working with Terrence. Terrence left top-ranked, but Terrence would still be in that gym anyways. Keyshawn, some of the youngsters that Bomac would continue to work with, and I'm sure they crossed paths many times in the top-ranked gym here in Las Vegas and, decided to collaborate for this fight. But I don't know how much help Brian McIntyre, Bomac, can do in such a short time. So we'll see tonight. But what's up, boxing analyst? What's up, Khalid Muhammad? Is that Dr. Khalid Muhammad in the chat? There's two Khalid Muhammads in the chat, actually. No, there's Kareem Muhammad and Khalid Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. So we got a lot of Muhammads in the house. What's up to all three of you guys? Is this a live stream? Ask Christopher. It's a live round by round. Stick around if you'd like, my friend. Peter Brown, the dregs of pay-per-view. This fight wasn't pay-per-view for me. I have ESPN Plus, so not a dreadful pay-per-view. But we do got some time to kill. I feel like we got another fight set to happen. I think Dave Allen, who has some popularity in Britain, the heavyweight, I feel like he's probably up next, and then we'll get to main event time. Where are we at on the card? Has it started? Ask Chicago, April. Hands of Stone says, hit the like, you peasants. That's one way to ask for it. Appreciate it, Hands of Stone. But yeah, I don't know where. Let me turn my stream up just for a moment here, just so I can hear what's happening at least. Is this main event time? Let's take a listen. 1 second. Yeah, heavyweight fight first. Dave Allen against Frazier Clark. I think Dave Allen's the guy who stuffed his pants a whole bunch of times to make it look like... Bye, babe. Oh, you can come in and say bye. The stream, it's not that serious yet. I'm going to say goodbye to my family before we get started here. Come here, Leo. Come here, Sammy. Come on. Say bye-bye. Who wins? Chris Eubank or Liam Smith? Who wins? Liam Smith or Chris Eubank Jr.? Chris Eubank Jr.? Okay, we'll see. We got the upset. Who's your pick for today? Go ahead, back up a little so people can see the face. They can only see your pregnant abdomen for now.
I haven't seen Liam Smith since the Canelo fight.
That's right. She was in Texas when Canelo beat Liam Smith.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I'll go with Liam Smith. Why not?
He won the first time.
Oh, he did?
He fought Canelo, you know? He has that Canelo residue 7 years later still on him.
Still on him.
Yep,
Yeah.
he'll win.
It's been a while, though.
Or not. So, but alright, guys. Have a good time out of here.
Say bye-bye, Bubba. Say bye-bye.
Bye, baby.
I love you.
Daddy kiss. Go ahead.
Just go, Sean.
I will. Love you guys. Yep. Bye-bye.
Come on.
I'm proud of my family, so I'm happy when they have to interrupt the stream. That's my flex. My flex is my family, my pride and joy. So, boxing analyst says boxing's #1 power couple. Thank you. Chicago April said it's never that serious, brother. Beautiful family. God bless. Thank you guys, man. Thank you. What's up, Dane Sampson? What's up, Rudy Tupapa? What's up, School of Skills? Thank you, Anthony Carden. Anthony Carden says, beautiful family, big dog. Blessings to y'all. Thank you. And she's pregnant right now, 4 months pregnant. She doesn't really look it yet, but she's pregnant with my little girl. Sophia Zattel will be her name. So both heavyweights in the ring now. Dave Allen, or no, actually I think Dave Allen's in, and Frazier Clark's about to make his way. Not too invested in some of these domestic fights, to be quite honest with you. Kevin Solis says, nice family, bro. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Tariq Ben says, God bless the family. Thank you, brother. God bless you as well, man. Dane Sampson says, Tariq Ben says, when does the main event start? Main event's after this fight. Co-main event is about to begin right now. If you want to check back in at main event time, I'd say get back in the stream around 2 o'clock Pacific time to be safe. Maybe even 1:30 to be safe. But Dane Sampson says, Sean, do you think Tim Tszyu sparring 333 rounds for the Harrison fight is a lot? Oof, that is a lot. Well, let's break it down. 8-week camp. He's sparring about a little over 40 rounds a week. Fighters tend to spar 3 days a week. So he's sparring about 10 to 12 rounds on average each sparring session. That kind of is a lot. That is a lot. I'm curious. I should go back. I should crack open some of the books I still own about Ray Robinson and some of Joe Louis, but I can't remember off top how many rounds the old timers used to spar. They probably used to do about that much. I mean, they almost fought that many rounds in a month professionally. They'd fight 2 or 3 times in a month, but that's in today's boxing. That seems like a lot. Most camps I've been around, I've seen Devin Haney go 12 rounds a couple of times. Sean Porter would usually only spar about 6 to 8 rounds, and then he'd sprinkle in a 10 or a 12 round session in the lead up to the fight as like a gas check to make sure his gas tank is ready to go for that extended period. But for the most part, I see fighters kind of peak towards 10 and 12 round sparring sessions. They're not consistently sparring 10 to 12 rounds session after session 3 times a week. That's a lot. If Tim Tszyu really did spar 333 rounds for Tony Harrison, that just shows you he loves to fight, But yeah, that seems like a lot. But most fighters I've seen will spar 6 to 8 rounds. Haney would spar 10 to 12 rounds more often than other guys I saw, but outside of Haney, most guys I would see would spar 6 to 8 and sprinkle in a 10 to 12 here and there in the build up to an 8-week fight camp. But 333 rounds is a lot. Noel said, God bless them. I appreciate that, man. Does that increase chances of CTE? Ask boxing analysts. It does. A lot of fighters will tell you it's the sparring that, that eventually leads to the real brain damage even more than the fights themselves, is the training camps and all that. That's why, when a guy, I love watching Ennis fight, Boots Ennis, but when he talks about another 13 rounds in the bag, part of me, don't leave it all in the gym, man, for that reason in part 2, the CTE stuff, but also, just don't leave it all in the gym. But that shows how much guys like Boots and Tim Tszyu love to fight. You got to pull them out of the ring as opposed to, making sure they go into it to train, That's the kind of fighter you want, is a guy that you have to pull back on, not a guy you have to wake up and force to do his rounds of sparring. So it's a good problem to have for a trainer. Nat Franklin said this is the first time I've watched you, Sean. Beautiful family. Oh, thank you, Nat Franklin. I appreciate that, brother. They are my pride and joy. They are my flex. Is my wife and my son. They make me very proud. Chicago April said, how do you feel about Spence and Crawford rematch being at 60 or 68? Since the winner most likely wants to fight the winner of Canelo and Charlo, I think it makes sense. I've had a few fans ask me about that, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think if they fight again, it's at 54. But it kind of makes sense because both guys kind of want that big Canelo fight, spotlight, money, payday, and an opportunity to beat them to prove they're the best. Most importantly, but so if you're thinking about that, why not go ahead and get acclimated to the weight? But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think they'd fight at 154. Let me see. Dane Sampson said, it's interesting how Marquez and Morales both don't like Canelo. Do you know why that is the case, Sean? Dane, I've been told by people in boxing that Morales and Marquez have been critical about Canelo. And of course they are, because they've been asking to give a microphone and give their opinion. And anytime someone's being 100% honest, and Morales and Marquez, kind of like Shaq and Charles Barkley in the NBA, like Tim Bradley here in boxing, they got that certification, that Hall of Fame certification to call it exactly as they see it and not really care about what other people think, because they are more than entitled to their opinion. So apparently Morales and Marquez, it's not that they're always super critical of Canelo, but they don't always sing his praises. They don't always feel like the caliber of opposition's the best. And, you know, they don't only sing his praises. They mix in some criticism to go with it. And Canelo I don't like it when athletes do this. They try to say, well, you're jealous and out of the spotlight and old. And it's like, hey, man, that guy was just as bad as you were back in his day, if not badder. And I'm sure he's sitting on plenty of money. Maybe not as much money as you have, but he's sitting on plenty of money himself. So he said what he said, and you could disagree, but let's not go that route with it. So it sounds to me like, you know, Canelo feels like those guys are, you know, jealous and envious of him being the current reigning star from Mexico. I don't know if it's true or not, but some people told me that in boxing, in the sport, in the industry, that Morales got taken off some of the telecasts because of his opinions about Canelo. You know, Canelo's team or Canelo himself didn't like that. So, you know, it is what it is. In that particular situation, I'm on the side of Morales and Marquez. Even if they are, let's say Canelo's right, and it's not just fair criticism. They are hating on him. Those are your elders. Those are the guys who helped pave the way for Mexican boxing. Win them over. And if you can't win them over, then be the bigger man and let them hate on the sidelines while, you know, you make more money and fight in higher weight classes than they ever did. You know, be the bigger man. But that's how I look at it. You know, I have tremendous amount of respect for Morales and Marquez. I feel like Julio Cesar Chavez sucks too much of the wind out of the room. He gets too much credit at the expense of guys from Mexico who are just as great as him, like Morales and Marquez. So, yeah, I'm on Morales and Marquez's side. But you know, Canelo's the man right now, and I give Canelo credit for not only being, you know, an all-time great fighter, but maturing in the spotlight. He's actually become more humble in a lot of ways since he's become a star than he was in his superstar, the face of boxing, than he was in his 20s. So, you know, I'm not hating on Canelo with that. With success comes criticism, says Jay Santana. Exactly. Absolutely. You know, De La Hoya was heavily criticized by Chavez. Chavez, you know, unlike, in my opinion, what Canelo thinks Morales and Marquez are doing, Chavez actually was doing to De La Hoya. I mean, you're straight up hating when a guy beats you twice and you still don't fully want to give him his credit. And Chavez back in the day didn't still give Oscar credit, but, you know, Oscar still respected his elder. And in the end, you know, Chavez was forced to concede something to De La Hoya. So we'll see. GTARS says man needs a haircut and a save. I think you meant shave, but I get your point. Shave, absolutely. Maybe even a little hair trim at this point. You might be right. But it's Chris Eubank, Liam Smith 2 rematch. You know, we'll get a little cleaned up in time for Canelo Charlo. But I'm gonna be a little more casual today, GTRS. I hope you don't obsess over another man's look for too long and can still enjoy the stream. Sean Morrison says, Sean, Cat Williams voice, if you got 50 haters, you better get 100 more haters because you're doing something right. The haters doing their job, right? That's right. No, I know the skit you're talking about too. I don't want to embarrass myself by trying to read it in a Cat Williams voice, but I totally get your point, Sean Morrison. Little Crypty Monster says, do you think Kell Brook will announce a Conor Benn fight tonight? I heard they are both in the building. I don't think so, but maybe. We'll see. I mean, that's a fight that big domestic scrap, yeah. They can make a lot of fight over there in England. I don't know if I want to see it that much. Kell Brook's face, two messed up eyes, long in the tooth. I know he beat up Amir Khan in his most recent fight, but that was Amir Khan who was shot and couldn't take any punches anymore. By the way, the last time Bomac was in this situation, taking a star UK fighter and kind of quickly trying to tune him up and make him a lot better in just one camp or so, it was Amir Khan against Kell Brook. So last time, Bomac was overseas in a big matchup. It didn't come out too well for him when he was in the corner of Amir Khan. So we'll see if it goes better for him tonight. But Sean Morrison says, Sean, is the fight on yet? No, not yet. It's co-main event time. Round 2 of Dave Allen against Frazier Clark. Frazier Clark getting the better of this action right now in round 2. Big Honcho says, who do you got, Eubank or Smith? I got Smith. I think it'll take him longer. Prime Amir Khan couldn't take punches either. Yeah, but Rude Dog, there was a time in his career he could take Lamont Peterson. He could take Marcos Maidana. He even took a couple Canelo shots. Took that left hook in one of the first rounds with Canelo before Canelo eventually bombed him out of there. So, I get what you're saying. Khan always had a bad chin, but by the time he fought Brook, I mean, he literally couldn't take any punches, not a jab, nothing. And at one point, he could get up or not get up. He could withstand 12 rounds of Maidana, Peterson. So, but I get your point. But Sean, the fight on, or who do we got, Eubank or Smith? I got Smith. I think it'll take him longer this time, but I still got Smith. I don't think Eubank, despite his superior athleticism and talent, he's not as fundamentally sound as Smith. Smith's a little tougher than him, I think, better punch resistance, and I don't think Eubank has the kind of tricks up his sleeve over the course of 10 to 12 rounds to offset a guy who's just keeping his hands up better, a little more fundamentally sound, slowly closing distance and applying pressure. Yeah, I think eventually it might take longer, but Liam Smith will get where he wants. He'll get Eubank in the corner on the ropes. He'll get inside, and that left hook and that left uppercut, his best punches, they'll get to work on Eubank again. But it might take longer. Eubank might have more success on the outside before his legs start to not allow him to keep on in the second half of the fight like he does in the first half. We'll see. Dane Sampson, does Tim Bradley deserve to be in the Hall of Fame in your opinion, Sean? Yeah, I am. That Juan Manuel Marquez fight really helps him out. But I am grading on a curve a little bit. I do think the bar has been lowered for fighters to get into the Hall of Fame. I think when you look at the Hall of Fame 20, 30 years ago, and guys like Diego Corrales and Michael Moore still haven't gotten in, that shows you the bar used to be higher. The Arturo Gatti name is the one people always bring up when it comes to the bar for who should or shouldn't get in. They saying if Gatti should get in, then there's about 50 to 100 guys that should get in as well because they were better fighters than Gatti. The thing is, Gatti got in, he was a special case, an exceptional case because he was in, I think, 4 Fight of the Years. And I think only 2 other fighters in the history of boxing have been in 4 Fight of the Years. So he's kind of getting in more because he was a rare action fighter. Now me personally, I love Gatti. I don't even think Gatti was the purest action fighter of his era. I think El Terrible Morales was, because I think El Terrible was in just as good of fights, just in as many a number of great Fight of the Year contender type fights than Gatti. But he fought his fights at a higher caliber level of opposition more, it was usually fought at a higher level of skill and had just as much action as a Gatti fight. So I think Bradley deserves in. But I also think it's easier to get in now because fighters fight less often, and big fights take longer to make happen. So I do think the bar has been lowered a little bit. I think Bradley said it himself. Tim said it himself when he got in. He's in, but he doesn't consider himself at the same table as guys like Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd, and even a guy he beat on the record, Manny Pacquiao. You know, he said he's just happy just to get in. And, you know, I get what Tim's saying. Tim was honest in assessing it that way. But, yeah, when you look at the guys he beat, Lamont Peterson at 140, Devin Alexander was an undefeated versus undefeated unification fight to decide who the man was at 140, and he won that fight easily against Devin Alexander. So, yeah, I mean, he gets in, but you know, if he wouldn't have got in, it wouldn't have been this big debatable thing for me. You know, I would have understood if he had to settle for being on the borderline too, but he got in, and I think maybe in part him being a media personality, a great media personality, always on TV, that kind of helped his borderline case push him over the top. This is going to be the first year I actually do have a vote on the International Boxing Hall of Fame. My first order of business is to get Diego Corrales in. I think Corrales is long overdue for getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm tempted to vote in guys like Marlon Starling and Michael Moore as well. I'll assess it further, but I'm convinced for sure Chico Corrales should get in. You know, he beat Acelino Freitas, he beat Jose Luis Castillo, he beat Joel Casamayor, he beat an undefeated Robert Garcia. He won the best fight of the new millennium, Corrales Castillo, so we'll see. Peter Brown said it was a poor era heavyweight-wise. Foreman dominated the B-side till Moore. But, you know, Moore was also this great light heavyweight, too. He's also one of, you know, he didn't unify at light heavyweight, become undisputed, but your eyes don't lie. He was an amazing light heavyweight. Emmanuel Stewart thought he could have been the greatest ever at 75 if he wanted to stick around, but he wanted to get paid. He went to heavyweight. Who else is on the card? Igdora 9. Right now it's Dave Allen and Frazier Clark, and Frazier Clark is just getting the better of Dave Allen right now. Good, it's just better. He has a better up jab. He's jabbing up from the hip. He's getting off quicker combinations. Better defense than Dave Allen, who's just coming in with a high guard, coming in a straight line. Frazier Clark fighting with the left hand at the hip, using a little bit of shoulder roll, jabbing up from the hip, using the up jab from the hip to set up little quick combinations. And, you know, he's in control of this fight with Dave Allen right now. So, Michaela Mayer already won her fight earlier on the undercard. Wasn't a great performance, but, you know, she clearly got her unanimous decision victory. Quentin says Marlon Starling first. Yeah, you know, I know John Scully has been saying for the longest Marlon Starling should get in. I remember my man True School, Brendan Taylor, we watched some Marlon Starling recently, I think before Ryan and Tank's fight. We were just watching old fights. Just amazed by his high guard. The way he used to punch out of that high guard, it was crazy. If you guys haven't seen Marlon Starling's high guard, go check it out. You'll get a kick out of it. It's almost a little funny looking, but super effective. Obviously, he was the welterweight champion. But let's see. He looks like Ishe, Frazier Clark. Frazier Clark does look like Ishe. Good call. Same beard and everything. Bald head, beard. Nice left uppercut by Frazier Clark. And then he ties up Dave Allen punching away with the right hand in the clinch. I'm not going to fully round by round this one. I'm going to, you know, breeze through this fight, and we'll do the full round by round once it's main event time. But Dave Allen still applying pressure, though. So give me some boxing talk, chat, to help pass the time until main event time. Dane Sampson says, Peter Brown says Marlon Starling beat the UK's Lloyd Honeyghan in '89. Yeah, all Honeycomb Honeyghan. Good fighters, underrated fighters who were forced to stay a little bit in the shadows of after Leonard and Hearns and before De La Hoya and Trinidad and those guys. So Donald Curry, Mark Breland, Marlon Starling, some of those guys got lost in the shuffle in the 80s in that kind of transition period in the 80s and the 90s between De La Hoya and Leonard and that. Is Michael Nunn Hall of Fame? I'm not sure, Quentin. I think he might. I think he is, but I might be wrong. I'm not sure if Michael Nunn is Hall of Fame. He might not be. That's a good question, Quentin. Feel like he is. Let me check. Michael Nunn Hall of Fame. I think he might not be. Yeah, he got into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, but I don't think he's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. International Boxing Hall of Fame has been a little bit tougher to get into. So I don't think Michael's in there. So Michael Nunn should should maybe get into after all these years. Do your thing, Sean, says my wife. Thank you, babe. Thank you. You had your epic sign-off just now with our son. They liked it. They all said that you're beautiful. Well, by virtue of saying the family's beautiful. They were respectful enough not to just be like, I appreciate the chat. What's up, Tay-Day? What's going on? What's up, Stacy LaCosta? What's up, Stacy LaCosta? Paisan or Latino? Even though Paisans, maybe we should be considered Latino if it all originates from the Latin language. I don't know. Let's see. How can we get hyped for Spence Crawford too, says Fresh75. I don't know. We'll try. We'll do it. We are FightHype after all. We will do it. We will find the way to get you hyped for Spence Crawford too. It'll be hyped somehow. I don't know. We'll do it. It's a long time between now and then. We've made other fights hype that you weren't hyped for. We find a way. Dane Sampson, my bad, brother. All the way back to my brother Dane Sampson saying Valdez versus Kambosos at 35. Who would you have, Sean? I'd probably have Kambosos. Valdez started at 26. Valdez has been in more wars than Kambosos. Kambosos isn't a bad athlete. He's actually a little explosive in his own respect. That's why he was lightweight champion. That's why he dropped Tio, And Kambosos, even in that last fight, most people thought he deserved to lose against Maxie Hughes. He lost to Maxie Hughes because of the southpaw style and skills and positioning, but he didn't lose to him because Maxie Hughes was more talented, more explosive. Kambosos, I was ringside in Shawnee, Oklahoma. He was the more explosive fighter. He just was rendered so ineffective for much of the night and couldn't get off. He didn't feel comfortable against the southpaw for whatever reasons, but I think Kambosos would beat Valdez at 35. Where's the commentary, Michael? It'll be getting there, brother. I'm saving it for main event time. I'm not doing it for Frazier Clark and Dave Allen. I'm gonna talk boxing until then. T says Valdez would beat him. I mean, maybe he would. It's not. It's a competitive fight, but Valdez has been in a lot of wars. He's coming up from 26. I think Kambosos would win that fight. Just my opinion. Did Kambosos do better in the rematch with Haney, in your opinion? He did. I thought both fighters did better. Yeah, ultimately, Kambosos did better. I think he got Haney's attention late in the fight with a right hand. He took more chances. He took more chances instead of dying a slow death on the outside. But Haney took more chances. Haney got more done offensively. Both guys got more done offensively. It wasn't a great fight by any means, but it was definitely more entertaining than the first fight where Kambosos just couldn't deal with Devin's jab. Devin, basically won just as many rounds as he did the first time, but Kambosos did land some right hands. He took more chances. They both got more done offensively in that second fight. Let's see. Kareem Yorkston said, is Fury a joke? No, I think Fury's an all-time great heavyweight. I mean, he ended the Klitschko era, and then he knocked out the best puncher of his era. So he ended one era and knocked out the best puncher in his current era. So I know people like to say, what else has he done outside of those 2 wins? He ducked out on the Klitschko rematch. He's ducking Usyk right now, but no, I don't think anybody beats Tyson Fury except Tyson Fury. He's got to help them by not training hard, by getting back on drugs, by doing something to help the other guy, because on his best night, nobody's beating him, in my opinion. So, and Fury Wilder 3, the best fight since. Yeah, Fury Wilder 3 was a great fight. I think that's the best heavyweight fight of the new millennium. It was Lewis and Klitschko, or Klitschko and Joshua, or even, Layman Brewster, Sergey Lihovich was a hell of a heavyweight fight. But no, the best heavyweight fight in the new millennium was that third Wilder Fury fight. Frazier Clark starting to gas a little bit, maybe. Looking a little more uncomfortable, and Dave Allen continues to apply pressure, getting in a good overhand right, and then a left hook to the body with about 30 seconds left in the 5th round. A little bit of swelling beginning to form under Frazier Clark's right hand, too. Ooh, lands a nice left uppercut on Dave Allen, but Dave Allen showing a good chin, walking through Frazier Clark's best shots and applying pressure. So good stuff. Oh, good 2 body shots by Frazier Clark, and Dave Allen doing a Usyk, saying those belt line shots were low. They didn't look low to me, folks. I think Frazier Clark got him with 2 good body shots, and Dave Allen milking it to the ref. I'm interested to see on this replay chat if those 2 shots were really low. They look like they were on the big belly of Dave Allen to me. But these referees seem to react right away to Frazier Clark. Maybe Frazier Clark hit him low a couple times with his eyes starting to bleed, starting to get tired. Frazier Clark, this fight got my attention here at the end of the 5th. Another low blow. Dave Allen complains of another low blow, but those shots, the referee said that one wasn't low. Let's take a quick look at these on these replays to see if Dave Allen was hit low or not. Let's take a quick look. Molly Mall, I got you. In the super chat, 1 second, Molly Mall. I just want to take a quick look at these low blows, or what may not have been a low blow. Rude Dog saying White Rhino pulling the Usyk. What round you in, bro? Peter, we're about to hit the 6th round in this co-main event. Molly Mall said that was low. We'll see, Molly. Let me see the replay, Molly Mall. Let me see the replay. I randomly want some Chick-fil-A now. That spicy chicken sandwich. That's going to be my first order of business after this stream. All right, here we go. Here's the body shots. Okay, that was low. It was right on the belt line, but it was low. Yeah, that was low. Good eye, Molly Mall. All right, so Molly Mall asked, prime for prime, Emmett Smith versus Adrian Peterson. Another low blow, and Frazier Clark is beginning to fold here. He's getting low because that fatigue is setting in. That was a low blow on Dave Allen last round. And Dave Allen is not wearing his trunks as high as Usyk is. You can see his belly button. Barely can see his belly button, but you can see it. His trunks are lower than Usyk's were last week. And that punch strayed lower on the belt line than the punch against Usyk did as well. So, okay. We're in round 6, but quickly to my man Molly Mall. Emmett Smith, real quick. Frazier Clark still letting go of combinations. That left hook to the body didn't look low. And another point gets taken away by Frazier Clark. 2 point deductions in the 6th round. This fight is getting away from Frazier Clark, who was getting the better of it to start. AP versus Adrian versus Emmett Smith. It is coming. It's coming. But right now, Frazier Clark is in danger of being disqualified. He's been deducted 2 points for going low. His fatigue is setting in, and that's made him start to resort to punching on the border. Dave Allen showing good punch resistance right now, and he gets hit again with a sweeping right hand to the body, complains to the ref, but the ref says keep fighting. Nice right uppercut lands for Frazier Clark, taking something off his punches and punctuating with a right uppercut. Dave Allen punching to the back of the head a little bit in the clinch. And now the referee bringing both fighters here. Frazier Clark's body language is not good. He looks like a guy who wants this fight to be over, even though he's still hitting Dave Allen with solid little combinations. Little sweeping right hand lands for Frazier Clark. About 2 minutes left in this 6th round. Frazier Clark still landing some good combinations to the body and to the head of Dave Allen, but doesn't look comfortable. Doesn't look like he wants to go another 3 or 4 rounds. Frazier Clark still following up, still touching up Dave Allen up top. Dave Allen only letting go of his hands in these clinches. Dave Allen breathing heavy now too. Eats a little body shot, eats a right uppercut from Frazier Clark. Referee oh, nice right uppercut by Frazier Clark. Sweeps with the right hand and then comes up through the middle with that right uppercut with about 1:20 left in this 6th round. So Frazier Clark still landing effective shots. Dave Allen not landing much this round, but winning the round because of two low blow point deductions. A third low blow. A third low blow. Frazier Clark is being sent to the corner. Frazier Clark being sent to the... That was a low blow with the sweeping right hand. Frazier Clark being sent to the corner. Referee giving Dave Allen some time to recover from that third. Not going to disqualify Frazier Clark, but that I didn't need to hesitate on that one. That was definitely a low blow. Frazier Clark might get himself disqualified. Molly Mall, prime Adrian Peterson versus Emmett Smith. I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson. I just think he was a better individual player than Emmett Smith, who was on a much better team and a much better offensive line than Adrian Peterson. I think Emmett Smith definitely has a better career than just about any running back in the history of the NFL. He was an amazing one-cut back, and I love one-cut backs because they rarely take losses for gain, take losses on a carry because they're not trying to do too much. And then Emmett Smith is real small. He becomes invisible with those big Larry Allen, offensive linemen in Dallas. He knew how to get real small, one cut, get through that hole, and he's out of there. So Emmett Smith had the best career of basically any running back ever, but I just think Adrian Peterson was greater than him, prime for prime, Molly Mall. So back to the UK boxing. All the UK fans probably don't even know who we're talking about. 10 seconds left in the sixth. And again, Dave Allen continues to land the effective shots this round, but got 2-point deduction. Oh, a straight right hand lands for Dave Allen. Beautiful measuring with his lead hand, and then straight right hand set up beautifully. But Dave Allen is tough. He has a good chin. He's taking Frazier Clark's best shots. And if Frazier Clark just doesn't low blow him again and doesn't get gassed, he has this fight won. We'll see what goes down. That's it for the sixth. We're heading into the seventh now. Both fighters going back to their corner. We'll see what happens here. My dog won't shut up in the background downstairs. But FightHype, best boxing channel on YouTube, says Maul and Trin. I agree. I got to agree with that assessment. Frazier Clark, and the fight's being called off. Has Frazier Clark won this fight by TKO? They may have stopped this fight in Dave Allen's corner. He was getting lit up by a lot of power shots. They have, it seems. It looks like Frazier Clark has won this fight. Dave Allen cannot come out of his corner to continue. Jaw damage. Dave Allen taking too many clean shots. And it looks like they're saying his jaw maybe is broken and that this fight ain't continuing. It's a TKO for Frazier Clark, who was doing everything he could to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. He was doing everything he could. He was trying to pull an Andrew Galata Riddick Bowe and lose a fight with low blow disqualification that he was winning. But he hit him with enough good shots. That was a big right hand towards the end of that sixth round, and that ended the fight. Frazier Clark looks like he doesn't want to give Dave Allen his respect. Looks like there's a little tenseness in the ring. And I think Frazier Clark is feeling like Dave Allen was trying to get him DQ'd on some nonsense. But some of those punches were definitely going low, especially that last one that almost did get him DQ'd. But Frazier Clark doesn't seem to want to share pleasantries that much with Dave Allen. Feels like Dave Allen was trying to steal one from him. But, his punches were going short. Were going low as the fight continued. But he finished them off. The better man won. Looks like Dave Allen was trying to say it's his shoulder, but it's also his jaw he was complaining about. And they ended that fight for the White Rhino. So let's see. Brent Boyer says Colorado football. I hear you, Broncos. I'll be in Colorado to see football. I'll be covering the Raiders week 1 in Mile High in Denver. I look forward to it. But that's it, man. Yeah, Frazier Clark won. He was gassing. He was maybe on his way to being DQ'd, but put together enough good combinations, good right hands, good uppercuts in that sixth round to stop the fight, to get it stopped. So good stuff by Frazier Clark. This is a domestic level fight. Neither guy a threat to a world title, to be honest. But Frazier Clark, a good domestic level fighter in the Commonwealth. And they're still arguing about things in the middle of the ring. So Dane Sampson says, how would Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney line up against the Pacquiao that fought Diaz at 35? I gotta go with Pacquiao at 35. He only had one fight there, like you mentioned, David Diaz, but he looked incredible in that fight and never got tired. Punched extremely hard, was extremely fast with extremely quick, explosive feet. He could be countered, and both of those guys would counter him, but he's gonna come back all night long, relentlessly, with combinations from angles. He's not going to stop. And I think Pacquiao. And that's no disservice to Shakur and to Devin, but we're talking about one of the 10 or 15 greatest pound-for-pound fighters that ever lived. So, Pacquiao. Brent Boyer said, let's fucking go, covering the Raiders. Nice. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. James Jackson asked Hatton versus Gotti at 140. Hatton, that fight would have got ugly for Arturo Gotti at 140. He couldn't keep up with the hand speed of Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton was fast at 140. Had fast hands and fast feet. Ricky Hatton was pretty good in his day at 140. A level above Arturo Gotti at 140. I know Gotti won the WBC at 140, but he was kind of gifted that belt. They stripped Costa Tszyu on some BS. Gianluca Bronco was a layup as a vacant guy to go against for that belt. I love Gotti. But Ricky Hatton definitely would have beaten Gotti. Gotti's punches were wide, and Hatton would have got inside and smothered him, killed him to the body, and he would have just been too fast, too youthful, too quick of hands and feet with Gotti. So might have been a fun fight. Maybe Gotti could catch him with a big left hook as Hatton's applying all that pressure. But when you saw Ricky Hatton fight guys like Juan Urango, who were big punchers at 140, he knew how to use that quick feet and either be too close or too far away from the power. So, yeah, I think Hatton would have took care of Gotti. Would have been rooting for Gotti, though. As a fan, I would have been rooting for Gotti. Stay Sharp says, nice OG TV in the back. What's that, a Dreamcast? Yep, that is the Dreamcast. This is the OG TV made for retro gaming. That's what I do. I play the classics on there, like... I know I'm going to get some love in the chat for this one. This is the classics that get played on the old TV. Because these games look so ugly on a high-def, flat screen, new, OLED, LCD monitor. So I got the OG TV in the back to play my OG gaming. But I do enjoy it while it is now, chat, because this will not forever be the setup for FightHype Live. As charming as it is, as low-budget production value as it is, I cannot continue to go live with a 1998 CRT TV behind me on a $20 webcam. Things will be upgraded around here soon in the future. So, Boxing Analyst says, Sean, I know I sound crazy, but I want to see Kambosos versus Haney again. You are on your own, brother. That is all yours, Boxing Analyst. You and just you, and maybe Jim and George. I'm not even sure Jim and George want to fight Devin Haney again. I don't think they do. I think you're alone on that one, brother. Dane Sampson says Pacquiao versus Pryor at 140. Oof. I'm tempted to go Pacquiao still. Pacquiao with the Ariza strength program. I'm tempted to... Pacquiao with the strength program versus Aaron Pryor with the one I mix. Who will win at 140? Only one can win. Yeah, I'm giving the edge to Pacquiao. They're very similar. They're both a little wild, and they make wild work for them. Relentless, can punch hard, angles, speed. I feel like I give the edge just a little bit to Pacquiao. That straight left hand could find Pryor in the middle of all his swarming combinations. But we'll see, though. I mean, we won't see, but I don't know. Carmen Basilio versus Jacoby Lamada. Charles N. What's up, Charles N? Good one. Oof. On their best night, I'm going to go Jake. Because Jake beat Sugar Ray when Sugar Ray was in his prime. Carmen beat an aging Sugar Ray in the fight of the year, late 50s. Ray beat him in the 40s, or Jake beat him in the 40s. I think Rocky Graziano was actually the most talented of the Italian welterweight middleweights back then. I think Graziano was the best puncher between Basilio, Lamada, and himself. But Graziano wasn't as durable as LaMotta and Basilio. LaMotta and Basilio, two of the most durable fighters of all time. I think LaMotta was a little quicker than Basilio. Basilio hit a little harder than LaMotta. I'm going to go with LaMotta. I think LaMotta was... I'll just go with LaMotta. I think LaMotta on his very best night had a little bit better hand speed than Basilio. We're getting on real Guinea Paisan boxing talk, Ginzo Dago shit right now. I'm going to go LaMotta. He beat a younger Ray, and his hands were a little faster than Basilio. But Graziano was actually more talented than both of them. Little Crypty Monster, thank you for the super chat. Little Crypty Monster said, towards your sandwich. Thank you. There's $5 towards your sandwich. Great channel and commentary. Thank you, Little Crypty Monster. I appreciate it. And that should be able to pay for the spicy chicken sandwich. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look out my window and see if my wife has left the house already. She has. So here on FightHype Live, this is the kind of premium content that got us to almost 2 million subscribers right now, is content like this. I'm going to text my wife live here on FightHype Live that if she's out and getting Chick-fil-A, I would like a spicy chicken sandwich. This is what boxing fans come on this channel for. Babe, if you are out, I would love a spicy chicken sandwich. No pressure. Crypty from the chat paid for it. Boom. Now you got to put it in no pressure, because she might be doing something fun and wants nothing to do with picking up spicy chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. But if she is out and about, and my son does tend to ask for Chick-fil-A dip, he calls it, the orange Chick-fil-A sauce, then she could hook her brother up with a spicy chicken sandwich. So we'll see. But back to boxing. Is Danny Garcia's chin underrated in your opinion, Sean? I think so. It's an all-time great chin. He has a great chin. I've never seen him down. I only seen him hurt once in that first round with Keith Thurman, when Keith shocked him with the sweeping kind of overhand right that hurt Danny early in that fight. So, no, he has a great chin. He's got one of the best chins of his era. Him, Canelo, Golovkin, Bivol has a good chin. I mean, he withstood Joe Smith's best shot. Better BF didn't even get hit with that shot. He was too smart to get hit with that shot. Who else? Who else, chat? Who else got the best chins from this era, chat? Canelo's got one of the best. Has the fight started, Sean Grigg? Not yet. Joshua Ortega, woman, I need that sandwich. See, I'm not going to get anywhere like that. That's why I said, please, no pressure. And maybe I'll get the spicy chicken sandwich. I might not, Joshua Ortega. Might not. Keep it moving. Thank you for the super chat. Keep it moving says you got this. I appreciate it, man. Chiquian Boxing, what's up, brother? What's up, my 16-year-old brother on the rise? My man, boxing knowledge, wise beyond his years. Chiquian in the chat, cooking up some burgers. Damn, you cook? I don't cook. I'm 32 years old. I just turned 32 years old. I'm twice your age, and I don't cook. I'm a man-child. You're Chiquian Boxing on his grown man. Cooking, but real men cook, by the way. Real men cook. I need to be more of a real man. I need to learn how to fix things. I need to learn how to cook. I might have to get a haircut that a normal 32-year-old would have one day. That one I'm more hesitant on, but we'll see. Real men don't cook, says boxing analyst. I think they do, man. I think they do. All them old school Italian gangsters used to cook something fierce. Wilfredo Gomez versus Inoue. I got Inoue. Got Inoue over Wilfredo Gomez. Danny sure did run from Lucas on the Canelo Floyd undercard, so yes, good chin when he fought, but he did get on the bike versus Machine, says Stay Sharp. I mean, he boxed him, and he dropped him. Matisse was the guy going on the canvas that night, not Danny. Danny fought a very, very smart fight. Counterpunched, boxed. He did what he was supposed to do, and the times that Matisse did hit him, he held up just fine. So I don't hold that against him at all. It's only running if you lost. You could be running if you want to. That happens too. That does happen too. But for the most part, I seldom see a guy running. To me, is what Murad Hakar did to Bernard Hopkins and what Karan Shukajan or Karen, as some of you guys probably pronounce it, but Karan Jukajan, what he did against Jaron Ennis in January on that Tank undercard, that was running. Andre Durrell, in some of his early fights, he would literally almost run around the ring. So, but for the most part, no. De La Hoya's movement was excessive in the last 2 rounds or so against Trinidad, even though I almost think he still won those rounds, even while he was running. You got to do a lot for me to put the running label on you. You got to do a lot. TBR said, you know boxing, bro. You a real man. There you go. Exactly. There you go. Exactly. I make up for all that other shit with boxing knowledge. I agree. Do you think Matisse got robbed versus Peterson? He knocked out Lamont Peterson in 3 rounds, didn't he? Did he? I'm trying to remember. Did he fight Anthony Peterson? It was disputed. I remember Matisse fought Lamont Peterson and knocked him out in 3 rounds. Dane Sampson. Am I missing something? Lara ran a little bit down the stretch with Canelo, and that cost him a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It cost him. Yeah, Waterchild says, anyone know when Eubank and Smith start? Should be starting any moment now for some ring walks. We're just killing time, waiting for main event time to really kick off. James Jackson, great question, says, who would have won between Mikey Garcia and Lomachenko at 135? Do you think he ducked Loma by moving up to fight Errol? He kind of did, but it was, look, he's not going to fight Loma unless he stays with Bob Arum. He didn't want to fight with Top Rank anymore. And he made a business, he's with Al. Al Heyman and Bob Arum weren't going to come together for Mikey and Spence. It wasn't a fight that, like Fury and Wilder, or like Mayweather and Pacquiao, that makes that much money, that brings those entities together. So the minute that Mikey went to PBC, that fight was never going to happen because those promoters just 99.9% of the times don't work with each other. So, and then Mikey wanted to make money. Mikey was always, kind of like Jared Anderson is talking about right now, Mikey always said, I don't really love boxing. It's a very hard sport, and it's something I'm really good at, and that I was kind of thrusted into in childhood in a boxing family. I'm here to get paid and get out. And that's what he did. After he got paid big against Errol Spence, he fights Jesse Vargas, he fights Sandor Martin, and he retires. So he made it, he went after the biggest money possible. And so I guess he kind of ducked the Lomachenko fight, but I think if Lomachenko was the biggest money possible, then he would have fought Lomachenko. It wasn't that he thought he had a better chance against Spence than he did Loma. He was just going after the biggest check. Who would have won that fight? I lean towards Lomachenko because Loma wants it more than Mikey. I think Mikey had the style, the power, and the counter-punching timing, and he was the bigger guy, even though they both started at 26. Mikey is one of the best punchers of his era. Mikey is a great puncher. I'm tempted to say pound for pound an all-time great puncher. I know Mikey doesn't get associated with that, but Mikey had freakish power for a little guy. So he had the power. Lomachenko's aggressive. Stylistically, Mikey had all the tools to take advantage of Lomachenko going in and out and lining him up with a right hand or a left hook at some point and hurting him. But he admittedly didn't want it as bad as a guy like Lomachenko, who fights, they all fight for money, you got to, but he also fights for pride and for glory and all that stuff, and that's why he stayed in the amateurs for so long, to get a second gold medal when most guys would turn pro to make money. So I think Lomachenko wanted it a little bit more than a guy like Mikey. That's why he's still fighting right now, and Mikey's retired. So I think Loma would have done what it was necessary to win the fight more than Mikey would have. But Mikey, stylistically, and in terms of the arsenal and the tools needed to win the fight, Mikey had everything he needed to beat Lomachenko at 35. I feel like that fight might have gotten away from him. So that's how I look at it. I wish we would have seen it. Chiquian Boxing says, Sean, what's the biggest fight we never got in your opinion? I would have loved to have seen De La Hoya and Trinidad rematch at 154 around the time Oscar beat Vargas. I would have loved for Bernard Hopkins to fight James Toney at any weight. That would have made sense, where both fighters could have been comfortable. I would have loved for Bernard to have fought Calzaghe at 68 in his prime instead of when he did fight him at 75. I wish Tyson, the rape with Desiree Washington never would have happened, or was that is Desiree Washington Tupac's trial? I think it's Mike's. I think Mike's was Desiree Washington, and Pac's was Ayanna Jackson. So I think if that never would have happened, Shaquille, they weren't supposed to fight in '96 and '97. They were supposed to fight in '91 before Mike had to do a bid, and Mike had all his speed, and Evander had all his speed. That would have been a even better fight than the fight that won Fight of the Year in '96. Floyd Patterson and Rocky Marciano, Vitaly Klitschko in a rematch against Lennox Lewis. That should have happened, and we would have really found out who really was the best man. I think Mike Tyson and George Foreman in the '90s, another fight if Mike doesn't go to prison, should have happened. Eric Morales and Juan Manuel Marquez should have fought. They should have fought. They were supposed to fight. Morales, his team in Top Rank offered Marquez $750,000 to fight instead of the third Barrera fight, and Marquez turned that down. So Morales Marquez should have happened. Salvador Sanchez against Julio Cesar Chavez should have happened. Salvador Sanchez was the featherweight champion in 1982, 1983, 1982. And if Salvador Sanchez moves up from 26 like he was planned to, Julio Cesar Chavez becomes the 130-pound WBC champ in 1984. They would have met, Sanchez and Chavez. That's one we were robbed of. Sanchez and Arguello is one we were robbed of. And on and on and on. Roy and Bernard in their primes, but that, whatever. They fought when they were old and they fought when they were young, so whatever. But, so yeah, just to name a few of ones that got away from us in boxing history. I'm trying to think of some others. Ike Abeabuchi against Lennox Lewis. If Ike doesn't get locked up here in Nevada, Ike Abeabuchi and Lennox Lewis would have been a hell of a fight. So, Ike Abeabuchi versus Mike Tyson, says Stay Sharp. That would have been a hell of a fight. When is the mayor fight? Says KUNT. She already fought. She already won. Unanimous decision. Tony and Bernard. I mentioned that one. So let me I gotta take a quick piss break before main event starts. Let me put a nice little. Let me put something on here. Eubank Smith 2. As I step away for just a second, chat, and then we get ready to call this fight live. Hold on here. 1 second, chat. Properties. Boom. All right, be right back, chat. I just got to piss real quick. All right, I'm back. I'm back again. In the house again. All right. Did Michaela look impressive? She looked like Michaela Mayer. That's how I put it. Hold on. Wait a minute. Someone said Hopkins milked 160. Some of those fights could have happened. Absolutely, Stay Sharp. I agree. But him milking 160 got him rich, with the De La Hoya fight. So I get it. Sean versus Marcos, hell of a fight, says Savage Greg. That would be a very competitive fight. And it would only happen if me and Marcos were very handsomely compensated. But I actually shadowboxed Marcos at a press conference once. It was very competitive. It would be boxing media's Morales Barrera. So it'd be a good fight. They'd have to pay us a lot of money, though, to make that happen. Mayweather versus Paul Williams. That would have been a very tough fight for Floyd. I've told this story a few times. I saw Floyd watching Paul Williams versus Sharmba Mitchell at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. He was watching intently. Next day, I go on BoxingTalk.com for the chat with Floyd Mayweather. Someone asked him about Paul Williams. He says, never heard of him, never seen him fight before. And I knew damn well he had seen him knock out Sharmba Mitchell the night before. He watched dead set on the monitor at the bar at Orleans Casino. So I don't know. I got a feeling that Paul Williams, he's too big. He might have just been too big for Floyd. Same thing with Tommy Hearns. I think Tommy would have beaten Floyd. But to be fair to Floyd, he started at 130 pounds. If we're talking pound for pound, and you take away Paul Williams' 6'2" height, and he's the same height and weight as Floyd, then Floyd beats him, you know. But at 6'2", throwing 100 punches around, at 147, he may have been able to beat Floyd Mayweather. So anybody can be beat. Boxing analyst said, Sean, the wait time for the main event is getting suspicious. Is something happening behind closed doors? Nah, this is just boxing telecasts, and what they do, they drag on and they kill time. So Michael DH says Xander Zayas versus Israel Madrimov at 154. Madrimov's footwork could give maybe Zayas some problems. I'm just higher on Zayas. I think Madrimov's more of a flash than substance guy. I like him. I think he's still a solid name coming up with an undefeated record at 54. I'm just higher on Xander Zayas, but Madrimov's older than him. So the timing of that fight would help Madrimov, but I'm just higher on Xander Zayas' future for sure. Shane Mosley versus Tank at 135. Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley, like a top 3 lightweight all time to me that I've seen. Purnell, Duran, Shane. So Shane all day. Shane was a monster at 135. No. There's more undercard boxing. I knew this would happen. Chat. That's okay. Hopefully I get spicy chicken sandwiches as we help kill this time. Please give us a quick knockout in this co-main event. XL says, I'm sure you answered, but what was your prediction of Spence Crawford, and do you feel the rematch will be any different? XL, I had Crawford winning that fight by knockout because of counterpunching, which is exactly what he did, but I did think Spence was going to get off to a good start in that fight, and I don't think anyone thought that fight would be that non-competitive. I thought it would be competitive, and I thought Crawford would adjust and eventually with the counterpunching get Spence late. But he got Spence with the counterpunching almost from the opening bell after he out-jabbed him in round 1. So, rematch, look, Spence can't do worse than he did the first time. I'm just skeptical that he can make the kind of significant... I think the best case scenario for Spence in a rematch is he does what Jermaine Taylor did in the rematch with Pavlik. He does what Wilder did in the third fight with Fury. What Mosley did in the rematches with Winky and Forrest. What Evander did in the rematch with Lennox. Which is make it a lot more competitive. But still, this guy's got your number. I'm skeptical he could take the kind of strides those fighters did in being much more competitive in defeat. I'm just skeptical. I don't see it. I think he can be more competitive, but not make the kind of strides those guys did in their rematches. I think it's still going to be one-sided. The counterpunching is all wrong for him in this regard. But we'll see. We'll see if Errol Spence proves everybody wrong. Good on him, and we'll give him the credit due. Drizzy Dro says, Sean, what's your thoughts about Tim Tszyu versus Conor Benn? I think, Tim Tszyu isn't disgraced like Conor Benn is right now. Tim Tszyu's at a higher weight than Conor Benn, and I think Tim Tszyu is more technically fundamentally sound than Conor Benn, whose athleticism, suspiciously, was getting better. He was getting faster and hitting harder, but he wasn't developing a whole lot of tricks up his sleeve, and neither has Tim Tszyu. But Tim Tszyu is developing a really good identity at 54 as a very good, educated pressure fighter. Very sharp, compact puncher with kind of underrated speed, too. He's not slow. I think Tim Tszyu would definitely beat Conor Benn. Froch is the most overrated boxer. Now, Froch to me, I like Carl Froch, but he's not a Hall of Famer. That's a guy that shouldn't. Carl Froch should not be in the Hall of Fame, and Diego Corrales isn't. Carl Froch should not be in the Hall of Fame, and Michael Moore isn't. Michael Moore beat Evander Holyfield for the heavyweight championship. What did Carl Froch do to equal that kind of accomplishment? Michael Moore was a 2-division champion, you know. Carl Froch only stayed at 68, so this isn't to diss Carl Froch, but yeah, Carl Froch should not be in the Hall of Fame if Diego Corrales hasn't gotten in yet. That's that bar being lowered in modern boxing, you know, for the Hall of Fame. But it is what it is. He was good. Yeah, he was good, but not great. He was good. Pretty good. He was pretty good, Carl Froch, but not great. And he didn't have... Like, Tim Bradley was more pretty good than he was a great fighter, but he beat a great fighter and great fighters, and Pacquiao, if you include that as well, because it does go on the box rec. But he did legitimately beat a great fighter, and Marquez, in a fight he was an underdog in, when Marquez was only 10 months fresh off of knocking Pacquiao out. So, you know, even if Bradley wasn't quite a great fighter, he did beat a great fighter. Froch never beat a great fighter. And same thing with Michael Moore. Even if you don't think Michael Moore is quite a great fighter, he beat a great fighter for the heavyweight championship, Evander Holyfield. So, Froch beat Taylor in America, Kessler, Groves, Abraham. All excellent wins, very good wins, but I don't know, you know, Hall of Fame, I don't know. I think he's pretty good. I think he's like Errol Spence is at 147. They should both be in the Hall of the Very Good, not the Hall of Fame, not the Great, in my opinion. Sean, there's boxing outside of America. Froch was great. I know there's boxing outside of America. You know, Joe Calzaghe is probably the GOAT at 68. Lennox Lewis is the best heavyweight. America hasn't had a heavyweight as good as Lennox Lewis in my lifetime. You know, Holyfield, but Lennox beat him. Lennox beat him when he was 37 years old. I don't know if, you know, and Holyfield did a lot better in that rematch. Maybe Evander in the early 90s, hit the form he was in then with all his hand speed, maybe he could have gutted out an underdog scrappy win over Lennox. But no, I mean, I know, you know, Lennox is the best heavyweight in the world the last, you know, since, you could argue even Ali, that he's the best heavyweight since Ali. So I know that, but they put everybody in the Hall of Fame these days, says GDDD. They do. No, they do. Basically, if you were a pretty good fighter, you get in now. You know, so before you had to be great. You know, you couldn't just be a guy who was on the pound for pound for a time and, you know, unified a belt. You had to be really great. And Gotti getting in helped lower the bar a little bit, I think. And then now it's basically where if you had a name and you were good, you're going to get in, is what it's starting to trend towards. So, Ward schooled Froch, though, so he's got to be up there. Yeah, Ward's a great fighter. I don't think anyone questions that Ward's a great fighter. Let's see. Young guys will beat your ass, says School of Skills. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, though. A lot of heavyweights in the 90s were juicing, though. A lot of heavyweights in the 2020s are juicing. Chris Algieri versus Sean Porter at 147. Boxing analyst, Sean Porter. Easily in their prime. Sean Porter easily in their prime. He cuts the distance. Algieri has nothing to keep Sean off of him. Sean had a very underrated jab in his prime. That's Algieri's best punch, is his jab. Sean could jab with him, and then he'll get past the jab with his own jab and with his in and out movement, his head movement, and I think Sean would have beat Chris Algieri for sure. Chris's best weight was probably 140 as well too. Well, no, he won his belt at 47. Lennox was great, not good. Yeah, Lennox was an all-time great. Lennox is like a top 5 heavyweight that ever lived. Roy Jones should have fought Holyfield rather than Tarver. Yeah, he should have. Should have just fought Mike Tyson for a shitload of money, even when Mike was shot. I have Ward over Floyd as a pro. I don't. I think that's a bit much. Is Sean Porter a Hall of Famer? Asked Chikian. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Sean's another guy in the Hall of Very Good. But one thing that makes me want to vote Sean in was his temperament, was his willingness in an era where too often the best found ways not to fight each other. Sean was ready, willing, and able to always fight the best. And part of me almost to set a precedent to reward Sean's behavior for giving the fans the fights they always wanted. Part of you wants to reward him with a Hall of Fame induction for that, because that's being a true champion even if you don't win. As if to send a message to other fighters that you get rewarded for giving the fans the best fights they want to see. So part of me would be tempted to vote Sean in for that reason. But my first reaction is no, Sean was very good. He wasn't great. And you guys know I love Sean. Love Sean like a brother. So that's me just keeping it all the way 100. So, no argument for me if Sean does get in. I'll be very happy for him. That would be awesome. But that is my most honest opinion. Guts says, I respect Sean because he wanted to fight the best any place, anytime. Yeah, and I feel that in addition to being a 2-time world champion at welterweight and having some good wins, I feel like if you know, I guess, because I have a vote too with the Hall of Fame, if he is to get voted in for that, I think that's part of why. He's not going to get voted in solely based on his accomplishments and his wins and his greatness as a fighter. He would get voted in to set a precedent to young fighters that you will be rewarded even if you come up short, if you fight the best of the best throughout your era. So I would respect that. So, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm like, no, not based on accomplishments and greatness as a fighter, but maybe to get in for being the true champion. And you get graded even more highly for the era you came up in, where too often guys found a way not to fight the best. So, I don't know. GDDD said you have to win. I get your point, right? No, Rudolfo says no participation awards into the Hall. And Bradley and Stallone, among others, are unworthy. I don't think Stallone's unworthy. And I'm fine with Bradley getting in this era. I don't think Stallone is unworthy. I get it. He never boxed before. It's a fucking movie. But, Rocky is a great movie. It's a great movie series, in my opinion. And it keeps boxing in the mainstream consciousness, even all the way up to Creed, which is the remnants of the Rocky series, the successor to it. I know a whole bunch of people who don't know anything about boxing, but they do see Creed, and it does at least keep the sport in the public consciousness of people it normally wouldn't. And I think Rocky 1 and Rocky 3, and actually, speaking of the Rocky movies, if you guys haven't had a chance to see the Rocky 4 director's cut that Stallone came out with 2 or 3 years ago, that movie is way better. Like Rocky 4, the original, is a great 80s action flick. It has this cool anti-Cold War moment at the end and everything. Like, it's a dope movie. But Rocky 4, the director's cut, I'm telling what do I got? 333 people in the chat right now. I'm telling all 333 of you that love boxing, if you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to see the Rocky 4 director's cut that Stallone reissued 2 years ago. There's this one scene with Apollo Creed where Rocky's trying to talk him out. That didn't make the original in 1985. There's this one scene where Rocky's talking to Apollo about why he doesn't want him to take the fight with Drago. And I can't believe this didn't make the 85 original. And Carl Weathers' Apollo Creed, he delivers this scene that I feel like every fighter should see. It's Rocky gets a lot of flack for being unrealistic boxing movies, but this scene was legit. It was Carl Weathers. He had the spirit of a real fighter, and he's explaining to Rocky, like, I'm a fighter. This is what I do. He goes, without doing this, we might as well be dead. He goes, we're fighters. We look for challenges. We look for mountains to climb. And without a man to fight, without a fight out there, without a challenge, we might as well be dead, Stallion. And it's this amazing scene that explains why great athletes don't want to let it go. From Michael Jordan to Floyd Mayweather to whoever, it's a wonderful scene that Carl Weathers delivered. You guys owe it to yourselves as boxing fans to see it for that scene alone. I wish someone had it on YouTube or something, but no, I feel like Rocky should get in. Fu says Rocky 4 was propaganda, had me crying when I was 6 because Apollo died in the ring. Rocky 4 was pro-American propaganda, but I liked it. If I could change, and you can change, anyone can change. That, I like that kind of propaganda. I'm with it. Most propaganda I hate, but that one tickled my fancy. Keep It Moving says, but you gotta admit that statue in Philly is crazy. I'm not mad at it. Just include a statue of Frazier and Bernard Hopkins alongside it. And I don't even know if that statue's still up in Philly. I ran up the steps in Philly 5 years ago when I covered Devin Haney beating Mason Menard. The night I was in New York City to cover Lomachenko versus Linares at the Garden. Hopped on a tram to go to Philly to go see Devin fight on Showbox at the 3200 Arena. And it was like 3 in the morning. I had the lift stop before I went back to New York City. I had the lift take me up the steps to where Rocky ran, and I didn't see the statue, man. It wasn't even there anymore. 619 Cali Factor says Pacquiao versus Porter would have been a war. It would have been a war. I think Pacquiao comes out on top of it in his prime, but the Pacquiao that lost to Jeff Horn might have lost to Sean Porter. So yeah, that would have been a war for sure. Thank you for the super chat, 619. So yeah, they definitely check that out, guys, if you didn't see it yet. That Rocky 4 director's cut was legit. You gotta see it. It becomes more of a serious film and less of a blockbuster. Definitely worth seeing. James Jackson asks, Andre Ward versus David Benavidez. Andre Ward. I love David. I'm high on David. I think he's great for boxing. He's that rare fighter that can be elite and be on the pound-for-pound list, but is an exciting, fan-friendly style first. So, love Benavidez. But Dre, I think evidence of the first 5 rounds against Caleb Plant, you look at what Plant was able to do before he faded, and Benavidez made some adjustments to his credit. I think Andre's able to maintain what Plant started for 5 rounds over the course of 12 rounds and wins a decision over Benavidez. So, have I been to the UK for a fight, says Metal Box J. I haven't. I want to. I haven't left the United States yet. I don't even have my passport because I'm too lazy to go through that process. Oh, huge left hook lands for Azim against Fanyan. Here, Azim got hit with that left hook from Fanyan. 3rd round in this co-main, and then we get to main event time, and I'll start the round by round. But Metal Box J, I feel like you're a hardcore Britain fan from Britain. Is that right, brother? You said Froch would splatter Benavidez. I don't think so. That's a very competitive fight, and I favor Benavidez over Froch, but maybe I'm wrong. But I think Benavidez would have had the edge over Froch. Boxing analyst says, what's next for Chris Algieri? I don't know. Chris likes to stay busy. He's a fitness fanatic who loves the sport, is a student of the sport. He's an excellent commentator and analyst. And he still fights to basically stay busy. His days of, contending for titles are long done, but he still likes to compete and keeps himself in great shape. Very smart guy, great analyst, but in terms of, what's next for Chris in the boxing stuff, I don't think anything too significant. But, he is got an excellent future in media for sure. And he's doing that well right now. Metal Box J said, yes, mate, but I love world boxing. Well, I know all UK fans love world boxing. They're just boxing diehards. So that goes without saying. But I do feel like I'm pissing you off a little bit by just picking guys like Benavidez over Froch. Rocky 2 should have went to the cards. Rocky 2 is actually the weakest of the first 4 movies. Rocky had the worst camp ever. Apollo had a great camp. Apollo should have won that fight easily. But let's see here. Beckmere versus Morrell. Oh, Beck the Bully versus Morrell. Morrell all day. If you're getting slept by a aging Gabe Rosado, You're not going to beat this young up-and-coming beast, David Morrell. David Morrell all day. Morrell is beating Canelo. Canelo's going downwards. Benavidez is beating Canelo. GDDD, but it's Charlo beating Canelo. Charlo beating Canelo. GDDD said Rolly would beat Paulie. I don't know about the Rolly that just fought against Barroso. I don't know. That guy who wasn't opening up at all, Paulie might have been able to jab his way through that. You're right, though. Paulie had that terrible shoulder roll. God bless Paulie. He's from my neighborhood in Brooklyn. But big overachiever. Much love to Paulie. But he had the worst shoulder roll ever. My God. He got him and Arturo Gatti. Italians should just not do the shoulder roll, apparently. Let's see. Cali Factor says Rocky 3 was my favorite. Mr. T was a great villain. Rocky 3 was amazing too. Rocky 3, I think it goes, for me now, Rocky 4 director's cut threw a monkey wrench into it because I always had Rocky 1 number 1, Rocky 3 number 2, Rocky 4 number 3, and Rocky 2 number 4. That Rocky 4 director's cut, man, that's almost like number 1 for me now, just because of that Apollo scene. When he's talking about why he has to take the Drago fight. That gave me like goosebumps. I think out of all the portrayals in the Rocky films, I think Mickey, Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers' trainer, Tony, are the most realistic depictions that remind you of people actually in real life boxing. Especially at that time in the 70s. X8 said, you're from Bensonhurst. Yes, sir, from Bensonhurst. Left when I was about to turn 7, so I don't get to rep Behurst that hard, but that is my neighborhood. That is where I'm from. GDDD said, it's a tough question. Charlo can pull it off. He can pull it off, GDDD, but he's going to need help from Canelo. He's going to need Canelo to show up flat like he did for Ryder, and I don't think Canelo plans on doing that. Canelo just moved his camp to Lake Tahoe. He's talking like he's very rejuvenated. And that's what I'm expecting, a rejuvenated Canelo against Charlo. And I don't think Charlo beats a rejuvenated Canelo. I think Charlo can come on strong down the stretch against a fatigued Canelo that shows up flat and take a decision. He can maybe do that, but he needs some help from Canelo if he's going to beat Canelo. He needs Canelo to be complicit in beating him. Yeah, Behurst. That's right, Behurst. I made that one up. Is Boo Boo really fighting David? Says Johnny G. The Lifestyle. That looks like where we're headed. Jay Hizzy, you watching this undercard? I am, but I'm not paying attention to it. I'm paying more attention to you guys in the chat. Boxing Channel 2 asked a random question. Sean, have you ever taken shrooms? I have, and both times it started off with a bad trip and ended with one of those laughing fits where I finished the last 3 hours of the trip just laughing in relief because I wasn't having a bad trip anymore. It got weird. Yeah. When I take shrooms, I got that intellectual depth. Other people, they geek out at seeing elephants and, colors and stuff, and I start contemplating God and the universe, and it freaks me out too much. So once I got to the fun part of the trip, shrooms were pretty fun, but the first half were very not fun. So anyways, thank you for that question. Keep It Moving said, what about Giovanni Parisi with the shoulder roll? Giovanni Parisi, I don't even know who Giovanni Parisi is. Keep It Moving. You stumped me on FightHype Live. I saw Giovanni Cabrera last month or over a month ago against Isaac Cruz try to do kind of a shoulder. He didn't even shoulder roll. He just was tall. I don't even know who Giovanni Parisi is. I know Sonny Canto and Guido Vianello, Micheli Pricherio, Vito Antuafermo, But I don't know that. You threw a New Guinea on me. I don't know who that was. Metalbox J said Sean was on shrooms when he told Eddie versus Canelo versus Spence was a good fight. Did I say that? Did I say that? Did I say that in an interview to Eddie? I believe you. I'm not calling you a liar by any means. I believe you. I think I remember that was the same scrum where I was arguing with Eddie back and forth about Charlo's resume versus Bivol, right? I was winding Eddie up. I was just being devil's advocate because nothing that week for Canelo Bivol. Nobody cared. We couldn't get any views, relatively speaking, on the site. I needed to bring some views to FightHype. I did, so I got Eddie to engage. So I was like, well, Charlo beat J-Rock. J-Rock was a unified Ring Magazine 154-pound champion. He beat Austin Trout. He beat Sergey Derevianchenko. Eddie beat some good names. And Eddie was like, come on, Sean, get the fuck out. And I just needed Eddie to engage to give us some content. That's what that was about, more than anything. There I am. The little secrets of the trade. Yes, you did. On Bivol versus Canelo fight, we see medal bet. I remember the scrum. I remember the scrum. Before I even went back and saw that you mentioned. Yeah, I remember it was Eddie was up on stage after the final press conference, and I'm going back and forth about Charlo's resume versus Bivol's resume. I was just winding Eddie up because I needed some content. Full disclosure. And I know Eddie's cool, and I know Eddie can take it. See, other people in boxing, I wouldn't do that with because they're not going to give me anything. They're not going to give me banter. They're not going to go back and forth. They're just going to get defensive, shell up, and move on to the next topic in the scrum. Eddie, I knew, would go back and forth with me, so I said, Eddie, these views are looking kind of rough for Canelo Bivol. Come on, let's get it. Charlo Bivol, come on, let's debate. Cus D'Amato versus Angelo Dundee. Who you got? Cus D'Amato, easy. Just watch Cus shadowbox against Muhammad Ali when they met, and look at how quick Cus's head movement was. Cus all day. Well done to get that, says Peter Brown. Thank you. Not like I'm super proud of it, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes to get content going on Fight Week. What was Zab Judah's biggest flaws, and did he underachieve? Zab didn't get away from right hands very well. His shoulder roll wasn't the most effective. He kind of like was Paulie's shoulder roll. Like he pulls straight back and shots get him on the top of the head a lot. Zab didn't have a good chin. Zab wasn't a big guy. He was only 5'7". He wasn't a big 140, 147, but especially at welterweight, he was small. And then Zab, mentally would fold. It would be frustrating to watch Zab take punches and then stop letting his hands go. You're sitting there watching it saying, you're getting hit anyways. You might as well let your hands go. But he couldn't do that. That mental block, he wouldn't let his hands go in some of those fights. So that Zab had a number of flaws, but he was an amazing talent too at the same time. Amazing speed. Incredible fluidity moving around the ring. After Baldomir, he was never quite the same. I mean, he looked great for Floyd. He showed up with everything for Floyd. After Floyd, actually, he was never the same. Even when he fought Cotto and hurt Cotto with the left uppercut, his game wasn't the same. It wasn't as tight. All his moves. Even though he was still fast when he fought Cotto, he wasn't as fast as when he fought Mayweather, and certainly wasn't as fast as when he got knocked out by Zoo. So, but lacked strength. Yeah, he was light in the ass. X8, light in the ass, but he had a great talent, too. Who do I think can beat Inoue? Navarrete would be... I would favor Inoue even over Navarrete at 130, but I don't hesitate to pick Inoue over anybody until we get to 130 pounds and we get to Navarrete. I at least hesitate. I pause. I think about it. I consider it, that Navarrete could win that fight. But nobody at 26. Robesi Ramirez, Luis Alberto Lopez, no. Marlon Tapales at 122, no. It's not going to be until he gets to 30 and fights a Navarrete that I say, now this is a tough fight. He could lose this fight. I would still favor him over Navarrete, but he could lose that fight. Let's see. Zab versus Broner. Zab all day. Zab was undisputed welterweight champ. I know Broner won 4 belts in 4 divisions, but the only time he was ever considered the best in the division is when he beat DeMarco for the WBC. But Zab all day. You American YouTubers like Eddie while the American promoters want him out. They do want him out. They've wanted him out from the beginning. Shakur versus Inoue at 130. Shakur. Rob said, Sean, your Mayweather 2 thumbs up impression was hilarious. I do it all the time now. I'm going to do it briefly. It's just... That's Floyd to me now. If I haven't been around you as much, I can't impersonate you as well. My impersonations fade, but the remnants of my Floyd impersonation are still the... That's still what I got from Floyd. Oh, we're not. No, hell of a fight. But that's all that's left. It's the remnants of the Floyd. It's just the hand mannerisms. AJ smokes Wilder easily. I'm not so sure of that. Rolly versus Ryan. I'm gonna go Ryan. Because more compact puncher. I'm going to go Ryan. I think he can catch him with that hook. Who's my best impersonation of Peter Brown? I've had some good ones over the years. They're all pretty weak right now. The Eddie Hearn's weak. I haven't been around Eddie as much. Haven't been around Floyd. I can do it. You know, I'm not feeling them right now. They'll come back. They come and go. They ebb and flow. Most definitely. Neil Spears, I can do Wilder, but I don't feel comfortable impersonating a black man on a stream. I don't want that taken the wrong. I'm not doing that. I mean, I'll do the Floyd one because everyone will do Floyd, and you just do this with your hands. But I'm okay. I'll do Wilder when I feel it better. I'm not feeling. I know if I'm gonna impersonate Wilder, I gotta nail it, or else it's not gonna come off right. So I would have to use the phrase "most definitely" a bunch of times. And in the heavyweight division. I would have to say in the heavyweight division and most definitely a whole lot with an Alabama accent. Most definitely in the heavyweight division. Let's see. Lee Wood would get beat by Floyd's protege, in my opinion, Kermel Moton. He might be able. If they sparred, Kermel would tune him up. If they were to spar, Kermel would tune Lee Wood up. But sparring's different than a full 12-round fight, you know. Maybe he could, but he's 17. He's not even 21. He's a baby. I'm giving him huge praise just by saying maybe he could. But at 17 years old against a world champion grown man. I mean, that's very high praise just to say maybe he could. In sparring, he would tune Lee Wood up, but a fight's different. So, he's a baby. But then again, Wilfred Benitez from Puerto Rico was world champion at 17. So Kermel could very well do it against a Lee Wood. The heavyweight division. Exactly, Malcolm Emanuel. When is Conor Ben fighting? I don't know. I think none of us care that much ever since the PED thing. Sad but true. Serious Mushroom says, do I think influencer boxing is a step in the wrong direction for boxing? I think it's a step in the wrong direction for society. The bigger issue, I'm not even worried about if it's a wrong step in this direction for boxing. It's a wrong step in the direction for society. You're getting addicted to people who are famous for being famous. Fame used to be built on merit. You know, Joe Montana was famous because he was a great fucking quarterback. You know, Charles Lindenberg was famous because he sailed across the world, record time. You know, Malcolm X was famous because he was a brilliant man, and on and on and on and on and on. Now people are famous for being famous. I'm trying to make that happen right here, kind of. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to become noteworthy and respected based on the credibility of my insight and my work and my analysis and my interviews. So, but yeah. I think it's more of an indictment on society than it even is boxing. It is an indictment on boxing, but more so society. Myself included. That's why every time I do an influencer fight, even when it's a Jake Paul fight, I go, what's up, guys? It's Sean, the sellout Zettel, because I am taking part in the societal filth that is influencer boxing, trying to make money off of it. But I'll be honest about it while doing it. Haney versus Prograis. Who you got, Haney? Prograis really had problems with the movement and the boxing ability of a much lesser fighter and Danielito Zorrilla. And so I just think Haney will do his thing. Eddie Hearn, if he's smart, will try to get Haney locked up for 2 fights so he could get Richardson Hitchens a shot at Haney. I don't think Hitchens beats Haney either, but I think he, even though he doesn't have the name that Prograis has, he's much younger, has quicker hands and longer arms than Prograis. I think that's a tougher fight for Haney, even though he beats both of them. So yeah, we'll see. Can we get a Tank Davis impression? No, Earthquack, but I appreciate you asking. I feel as though if I won't try to mimic his cadence and his voice, but if I was doing a Tank impersonation, I would say I feel as though about 3 or 4 times in a given minute or two. I feel as though. Abdullah Mason, Devin Haney, we're too far off from that. Mason's just a pure prospect right now. But I think Abdullah Mason's an A-plus prospect. I'm even tempted to slightly rank him above Keyshawn in terms of who I think has the best upside as a lightweight prospect. So I saw them spar when Abdullah was 15 and Devin was getting ready for the Gamboa fight. So I actually got to see them spar when Abdullah was young. GDDD said, Hitchens is very good and slept on. He is good. And that's why I think he has a better chance against Haney than Prograis does, even though so many more people are familiar with Prograis. Did Hitchens leave Floyd for Eddie? Pretty much. He left Mayweather Promotions for Matchroom. That's a fact, yeah. Do you think Haney ends at 154? That's exactly where I think he ends, James Jackson. I think he goes from 135 to 154 and becomes champion in those weight classes. That's always been my prediction. I think 54 will be the limit. Azim landing straight right hands and a left hook. Azim trying to get this stoppage here in the 8th round. How many more minutes till main event? We should be within the 30-minute span now. We should be started for main event. Guy says, is this 2.5 men? I appreciate the Ashton Kutcher comparison. That's always one that I like. More than Justin Bieber and Drake Bell. Let me let my dog. Let's take another quick piss break, chat, and let the dogs out of the upstairs because they're not shutting the hell up. 1 second, chat. Be right back. Prime Floyd versus Prime Hamed. Prime Floyd, easy, no hesitation, easy fight for Floyd. Go, get downstairs. Go, get down. Go, go. Alright guys, I'm back. Alright, I'm back. It's still just round 8 of Azim versus Fanyan. We're still waiting for this main event round by round to really kick off. So, as for all the impersonations, one I can do. I can do meatball. Check it out, y'all. Check it out. Frylock. He's no Metal Box J. It was just a piss. Has Haney KO'd anyone? He has. He KO'd Antonio Moran with knockout of the year candidate in 2019. That's probably his best knockout. Let me see. Lomachenko always crying about he got robbed. That's what fighters tend to do when they lose competitive fights. They always say they get robbed. That's just what fighters do. Don't hold it against them too much. Does the Crawford-Spence rematch have to be at 47? Asked Metal Box J. That's up to Crawford. Crawford has to sign off on the weight. I think he'll be fine with 154. I think he'll be fine with fighting at 54. It's an easy check for him. Yeah, Meatwad, baby. Man, my dog is tripping. My dog will not shut up today. Hold on. I have a couple dogs. 1 second. Man, go. Get out of here. Go. Get downstairs. Go. 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 Your ass outside then. Go. Get down. Get down. Anyway, Shaq. Sloppiest live ever, but who cares? Give the dog a bone. I did. I gave the dog some food to try to shut it up. If it barks more, I give up. It wins. Evan Burns, it's just round by round commentary. We're waiting on the main event to get started. Any thoughts on Andy Cruz from Cuba? He's good, obviously. 2-time gold medalist. Isn't not going to be good. He has upside still, despite starting late. He didn't questions about his punching power in the pros, but I like how he was working on things from the get-go with Bozienis, working on fighting on the inside, working on sitting on his shots, working on things he'll have to do in the pros outside of the things that made him a great amateur, fighting on the outside. So I think the best is definitely yet to come. He fought a good fighter for his pro debut against Juan Carlos Burgos. I don't know if he's a puncher, and we'll see. He's coming up in a very stacked, deep division. We'll see. He's definitely a big time player, a big undefeated youngster in that deep lightweight division. So I like him, but we'll see. We'll see if he can, because he was a special fighter in the Olympics with his reflexes and ability to fight on the outside. So he was trying to mix in the inside game in that Burgos fight. I like that. He was staying in the pocket, staying in the kitchen, he wasn't trying to fight like an amateur. So, but we'll see. I like Andy Cruz. We'll see. What time is the main event? Should be about 30 minutes max. Like Peter Brown said, we're just waiting. We're now almost in the 10th and final round of the Azim Fanyan fight. Domestic level scrap. Neither one of these guys a threat to a world title. Another domestic level fight. We went early just in case the main event would start early. So, we hit a little bit of a dead end here in this live. But you guys are helping us get through it. All 330 of yous. Appreciate that. By the way, I'm over having dogs. Once I had a kid, once I had real children, dogs are a nuisance when they give you problems. It's like I have real kids now. I'm sorry. Apparently she's happy though. She got to eat, so the dog is good. I know there's a lot of dog lovers out there. I love dogs too, but not more than my kids. I hope Eubank loses, says Connie Charles Lindstrom. Who do I got out of Kid Austin and Keyshawn if they meet, says Percy Baker. I like Kid Austin's talent, but I don't love his skill set right now. I think Kid Austin is very raw, and he's functioning a lot on his talent and athleticism, whereas Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis are more skilled than he is. So I think Kid Austin's one of the rawest prospects at lightweight. He needs to develop the skill set and all that and fundamentals and be fundamentally sound. I like his talent, his explosiveness and athleticism, but I think Abdullah and Keyshawn are more skilled and more polished than he is. So yeah, I would go with Keyshawn. Ray Leonard or Bud Crawford, who wins? Ray Leonard. Ray Leonard wound up knocking out light heavyweights like Donnie Lalonde. Ray Leonard, top 10 fighter that ever lived. So I'm going with Sugar Ray Leonard. Ray Leonard was faster than Terrence, bigger than Terrence. And had one of the great left hooks in boxing history, did Sugar Ray Leonard. So not an easy fight. Crawford could fight with anybody from any era. Mayweather, Leonard, that's how great Duran. Crawford is great. He's an all-time great, but I do think Leonard would have beaten him. And Floyd too, for that matter. Am I interested in that October 14th influencer card? Is that the one with Dylan Dennis and Logan? I'm interested enough to try to make money off of it, that's for sure. No, I'm interested. Dylan Dennis's social media onslaught of Logan Paul's fiance has me intrigued, yes. And by the way, I think Dylan Dennis is going to get beat up bad by Logan Paul. And the move for Logan Paul to do to capture the world, he has to knock out Dylan Dennis, and then he has to say, Nina, come here. I just want to tell you something. Bitch, get the fuck out of my fucking ring. Get out of here. It's over. You mean no marriage? No marriage. Logan Paul, drink prime, just whoop Dylan Dennis' ass, blah, 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 plug, and get out of there. Get out of the ring. That's the move for Logan Paul after he beats Dylan Dennis. I doubt he will do that. He will probably do the opposite of that. He will probably call his fiance over there, and God bless them. They'll do. I don't know about God bless them, but bless them. They'll do their thing. But Logan Paul is gonna beat up Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis has no boxing background at all. He's all jiu-jitsu, which is grappling. I barely know what jiu-jitsu is. I'm just a boxing guy. But Logan Paul is actually athletic, actually kind of has a pretty good jab, given his experience level. He actually has a good jab, Logan Paul. He's going to beat up Dylan Dennis. He's bigger than him, a better athlete than him, has better boxing experience than him, and he's got to be mad as hell wanting to fight him. That's if Dylan Dennis really even shows up to that fight. So we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, who are we going for, chat? Eubank or Smith? I'll go ahead and leave that right here. We'll go ahead and form a poll. Good question. All right. Liam Smith. Eubank. Who's your pick? All right, chat. The poll is up. Get your votes in now. Let's see. I got Eubank. Seems like he gets off on being the underdog. We'll see. My pick is Liam Smith again. I think it takes him longer than it does the first time, but he gets to him again. Liam Smith's best shots are the left hook and the left uppercut. I expect that to play a role again. Chris Eubank in the dressing room with Bo Mack, Brian McIntyre, warming up on the pads, and our main event is finally next. The arrogant family Eubank, they are arrogant. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. is like one of the least likable fighters I ever met in my life. But if he beats Liam Smith's ass, all credit to him. And I'll say all the obligatory stuff before you guys jump down my throat. I respect all fighters. I respect him for risking his life and all that stuff. But the guy, one of the least likable people I ever had to deal with in boxing. But that doesn't mean he won't beat Liam Smith tonight. He gets off, he does his thing, and I do think he inherited his dad's talent. He's definitely the more talented fighter. And Liam Smith doesn't look like he's in good shape compared to Chris Eubank for this fight. Liam Smith's body lacks any real cut to it in comparison to Chris Eubank. And I mean, that was pretty much the case last time, but I feel like Smith was in a little bit better shape than he was for this one. But Liam Smith has the ultimate confidence right now. He might be overconfident, may have undertrained and been overconfident. Chris Eubank could use the help in getting past Liam Smith. It always helps when the other fighter meets you halfway and doesn't give his best in training or whatever. It makes it easier on you to complete the task. We'll see. Yeah, Michaela Mayer, one on points. She looked like Michaela. She gave her typical Michaela performance, looked good in a higher weight class. She's a threat to any champion she's in the division in. These undercard fights are so incredibly boring. I agree. Sending respect from the United States, UK. Says Hands of Stone. Thank you, my man, Mano de Piedra. Fraser Brown says Smith is a real guy, not a helmet like Eubank. No, yeah, Liam Smith, down to earth. The Smiths, period. They all come from Liverpool. I actually talked to their father once when Callum was getting ready for the Canelo fight, they knew Callum wasn't beating Canelo. Like, even his dad, when I was talking to him in the bar the night before the fight, he didn't say anything that, like, oh, Canelo's going to beat my son, but he damn sure didn't give me this feeling of, like, Callum's going to shock the world tomorrow. You just watch. Like, no, I was like, yeah, we're here. It is what it is. But, yeah, the whole Smith family's cool. Paul, Callum, Liam, the dad. They come from the land of the Beatles. Nice people. Neil Spears says, I've met AJ twice before. He's a gentleman. Peter Brown says, once you predict it, it kind of ruins it in ways. Yeah, you start to root for your pick a little bit. I'm pretty good at mitigating that, but you want to be right. Everyone, once you make a pick, you don't want to be wrong, but so I get it. John Bay says, have I seen the new Wilder training footage? He's got that freakish power. I do see it. Keeps work. I like everything him and Malik keep working on. We just got to see how Wilder takes a punch still. He didn't get hit against Hellenius. He hasn't been hit since the Fury fight. And Wilder, before the Fury fights, had good punch resistance. That's why Ortiz hit him with his best shots, never put him down. Guys like Molina hurt him. Eric Molina hurt him, but never put him down. Wilder had a good chin. Does he still have a good chin? Because he's not the type of fighter who's great defensively, that he's going to take some shots when he fights the best, when he fights Ortiz or Fury, or if he were to fight Usyk. His chin's going to have to hold up long enough for him to get the right hand off. And if his chin is still what it was before Fury, he's in business. He could become heavyweight champion again if he were to get a Usyk fight. Not saying he would beat Usyk, but he'd be in business. He could still win that fight. Because if his punch can hold up to rounds of clean shots from Usyk long enough to still deliver that straight right hand, he's always got a chance to be heavyweight champion again. But if his punch resistance isn't what it was, and Hellenius gave us zero evidence to go off of, then Wilder's not going to beat guys like Usyk or anybody at that caliber anymore. So, Chesamine said, thanks for amazing commentary you do, bro. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Prime Froch versus Calzaghe. Who would win? Calzaghe all day. He'd put him in a blender, move circles around him. He's faster. He has better hand speed, throws better combinations, harder to hit, quicker feet. Joe Calzaghe all day. And Joe Calzaghe was a dog, man. He turned it up. He earned his respect. Americans like me foolishly thought Jeff Lacey was going to flatten him, and he beat I love Jeff Lacey, but he beat the dog shit out of Jeff Lacey and hit him from every which hit like Angel Garcia once said, hit that motherfucker like an octopus with 12 arms and shit. Calzaghe, man, he won everybody over in America. Even though I still think Bernard and especially Roy were past it. I know Bernard went on to become oldest champion after Calzaghe, so he showed Calzaghe still deserves a tremendous amount of credit for getting that win over Bernard. Split decision win where he went down in the first round. Calzaghe would have definitely beat Froch, and Calzaghe would have been even money with Andre Ward. That would have been a 50-50 fight. No way. You don't think Wilder smashed the F out of Usyk? I mean, he's got to hit him. He's got to line him up. Usyk's constant motion. He moves to his right. He moves to his left. He feints you. He touches you, and then hits you. And he's constantly moving. And coming up from cruiserweight, he's got the gas tank to do it for all 12. So he's not just going to stand there for Wilder to line him up. And he's going to be piecing Wilder up, stepping outside of the lead foot of the southpaw versus orthodox like Ortiz did, but he's quicker than Ortiz of hand and feet. So if Ortiz was able to get that outside lead foot positioning, southpaw versus right-hander, and line him up for shots, Usyk will do the same. If Wilder still has his punch resistance, it could be like the Ortiz rematch where he's losing round after round, but then he lines him up midway through the fight just once and ends the fight. That could definitely happen for Wilder, but that fight's a tightrope act for Usyk. It's a matter of, does he get caught? Because he wins the fight as long as he's not getting caught by the right hand, he'll be winning that fight. But it'll only take Wilder once or twice to catch him and win the fight. So I would love that fight, Usyk and Wilder. I'd love it if Usyk came to America and defended the heavyweight titles at the Barclays against Wilder. That'd be great. Don't see it happening. Ruiz versus Wilder, asked Connie Charles Lindstrom. I think Ruiz versus Wilder is going to happen. I have a feeling that the Wilder-Joshua money might be funny money in Saudi. It hasn't been funny money in Saudi lately, but I have a feeling it might be this time, and Wilder will be forced to kind of reconsider the percentage split with Ruiz and not give Ruiz 50-50, but give Ruiz more to get Ruiz in the ring with him so he gets a big fight before the year's over. And I think Wilder wins that fight because Ruiz has been winning his fights on the outside lately against slower, older guys in Arreola and Ortiz. He originally tried to do what he does best, what he knocked out Anthony Joshua with. Hands up, coming in, coming up with the hook. Hands up, moving your head, coming up with the hook and the combinations. But Arreola dropped him, and that made him think twice and made him box on the outside. And he was younger and faster, and he won the fight doing that. Same thing with Ortiz. Early in that fight, he's thinking about pressing him, getting off the big hook. Ortiz, even though he drops Ortiz early, Ortiz hurts him every time he hits him with the left hand, makes Ruiz more timid. But Ruiz still has the youth and the speed to beat Ortiz on the outside. If he stays on the outside with Wilder, like he's been doing lately, he won't get away with that with Wilder like he did against slower, older guys who aren't as tall and as long and as fast as Wilder in Arreola and Ortiz. So I think Wilder's going to beat Ruiz if they fight, and I have a feeling they are going to fight. So we'll see. Let's see. Believe that when I see it. AJ Wilder, says Peter Brown. I agree. Believe it when I see it. I'm skeptical that fight really happens. David Haye in his prime, the GOAT. David Haye in his prime, to me, is the third best cruiserweight ever behind Holyfield and Usyk. So he was pretty good. He was pretty good. He was actually a great cruiserweight, David Haye. That's safe to say. All-time great cruiserweight. Speaking of David Haye, I kind of feel like this rematch is similar to the David Haye rematch with Tony Bellew. David Haye, the more talented guy, the more decorated guy, not decorated. Liam Smith was actually a world champion, not IBO. He was the WBO champ before he lost that belt to Canelo. But David Haye, the bigger name, the more famous guy, better hand speed, more talented and gifted, more boisterous personality. Or not, Eubank Jr. is not really boisterous, but the more cocky personality. And the guy who was the favorite the first time around got knocked out by the more blue-collar, Brit in Bellew and in Liam Smith. And this kind of reminds me of Haye and Bellew, where, Eubank thinks he can go back to the drawing board and improve, and maybe he can a little bit. Maybe it takes Bellew longer, but... Again, this kind of reminds me of Haye and Bellew's rematch. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Eubank will reverse things this time. The odds makers barely have Liam Smith a favorite, and I don't see encouraging signs from Liam Smith in his body tonight. He doesn't really look that chiseled and ready to go. Eubank does. He always does. But I still favor Smith to win this fight, but ultimately we'll see. Just waiting on ring walks to start. David Haye had 1 foot against Bellew. He did, but Haye got in that ring and got beat twice. It is what it is. And he talked a lot of shit before that first fight. A lot of shit. The build-up to that first fight was wonderful. And then in the second fight, he tried to be humble about it, and Tony Bellew just wouldn't let him. He just wouldn't let him. It was a masterful psychological job by Tony Bellew. He wouldn't let him. He wouldn't let him. Nope, I'm not going to let you be the humble, nice guy. I'm not going to let it do it. You're a piece of shit. You're cocky. You don't, for 1 second, I don't believe this bullshit for 1 second. You want to take my head off. You hate me. You wish you could have shut me up, but you couldn't, and you won't the second time. It's going to go just like it did the second. And Dave would go, no, I know. No. And Tony Bellew, nope, I don't care how much you try to back away from the argument. I'm staying on your ass. And Bellew wouldn't let it go, and Bellew kept the same energy and made the second fight just like the first fight. So we'll see. Stay Sharp says Smith is not consistent. Why would you pick him? I'm picking him because he's more fundamentally sound and he's tougher than Eubank. And I don't think Eubank, even with his superior hand speed and talent, I don't think he's going to find the tricks necessary over 10 to 12 rounds to keep Smith off of him. I think at some point Smith will get in the real estate he wants in the ring, get in the range he wants. It's going to take longer than it did last time, but he'll get there eventually, maybe by the 5th round instead of the 3rd. Maybe by the 5th or the 6th. Maybe Eubank holds up to the punches better. He doesn't just go down on the first combination. But I think Smith will get to him again tonight. And I think Smith knows it. I think Smith knows he's got his number. And maybe that made him a little overconfident, and that's not a good thing. That could hurt him. But I think Smith knows he's got him. So we'll see. And I agree with him. Think he's got his number. But we'll see. Bomac has him ready. Bomac only had one camp, brother. There's only so much you could do in one camp. We shall see. Smith looks old. He always looks old. He always got gray hair. But he doesn't look in as good a shape this fight as he did the first time, if I recall. I was in Manchester to watch Usyk splatter Bellew. Very satisfying. Bellew fought a good fight, though. He was sniping Usyk with that right hand, the southpaw killer. And then Usyk picked it up a gear, picked it up a notch, started mixing up his combinations more, started getting more active, just more. He turned it up a notch across the board, everything he was doing, and Bellew began to fatigue, and then that was a beautiful knockout late by Usyk. Great win for Usyk at cruiserweight. Already had done everything at cruiserweight, become undisputed, and then he caps it off with a win over an excellent cruiserweight in Bellew. That's why Usyk's a great fighter. Let me see. Kick the spammer. I kicked him. He gone. We got him. Are you going to show the boxing later? Don't mean to sound offensive. No, Declan. We do not have rights to the broadcast. This is a live round by round. I'll be calling the action as soon as the fight begins. And I'll be calling this live round by round watch party. But no, we do not have access to the ESPN Plus stream to broadcast it here on FightHype. Hope you stick around, though. Do I think Usyk can beat Fury? He can, but I don't think he will. I think a great big man beats a great smaller man, and I think Fury has seen he doesn't like it to the body. And then I think Fury has the right hand with better speed. Dubois was timing and lining up Usyk for right hands at times when he didn't bite on the feints. He was just too slow. He would get the right positioning and timing, but the punch would travel too slow, and Usyk would see it coming halfway through. That's not the case with Fury. And then Fury knows how to fight and maul and be big on the inside and lean on you and hit you to your gut. And we've seen Usyk doesn't like that against bigger men. So, yeah, I think Fury beats Usyk. But Usyk could beat him. It's not out of the question by any means. Yeah. Can you shout out Harry the Janker? Shout out to Harry the Janker. Oh, my wife in the chat says sandwich ETA 5 minutes. What a good woman. What a good thing I got. She means a lot. Ain't no woman like the one I got. Oh no, they don't come better. Gets me a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A when I'm hungry. Sewn together like a hand in glove. Ain't no woman like the one I love. Let's go. She can fill me up when it's down, I'm going. That's the song right there. All right, we are waiting for ring walk time to start. No more terrible singing. Fury doesn't like body shots too. That's a good point, Joe Smith. That's a fair point. Daniel White says, I think Fury beats everyone, and I agree with him. I think the only way Tyson Fury loses is if Tyson Fury helps him out by not training hard, by doing drugs, by doing some shit. Yeah, I prefer Cane's, though. No, not Cane's. I gotta go Chick-fil-A with the spicy chicken sandwich. Jodeci or Jay-Z? I'm a Jay-Z hater. I like Reasonable Doubt. I like the Blueprint. I love the song Never Change off the Blueprint. But, I'm not a fan of the whole Aleister Crowley thing and the weird Illuminati stuff. I'm not a fan. Big Tupac fan. I think Pac and him would have been bitter, hated rivals. So I'm going to go with Jodeci. Sean, do you ever put a bet on any fights? I don't. I feel like that's kind of unprofessional. some people think maybe I shouldn't even pick fights at all because then you feel like you have a horse in the race when you need to be objective. But I feel like I'm good enough. I'm good at picking one guy to win, and if he starts losing from round one, I call it right down the middle that he's losing from round one. So yeah, but no, I don't bet on fights. No, I feel like that'd be a little unprofessional. Let's see. I meant the song I sang. Oh, the song I was singing was the OJs. That was the OJs. Hide user on this channel and put user in timeout and just remove. I'm gonna do all the above. So, Tuna Fish, the bear. Oh, Tuna Fish from Jurassic 5. Yeah, he was great. I love Jurassic 5. I've been listening to Jurassic 5. Justin Bieber hair. Yeah, it got rough with that latest adjustment. It went Bieber on me. That's all right. That's okay. Cat, you are too kind. Someone said singing isn't bad, Sean. I feel like it is. Can you shout out me chorizo? Okay, shout out chorizo. Your singing voice isn't bad, Sean. Oh, thank you, man. It came from the heart on that one. FU2 said Pac was trash. Very little rapping ability, but great songs. I disagree. Listen to Troublesome 96 from Pac. The man is spitting straight dark poetry that's unmatched. Menacing methods label me a lethal weapon, making victims die, witnessing breathless imperfection. Can you picture my specific plan? To be the man in this wicked land where underhanded hits are planned. No, Pac was great. Listen to Troublesome if you question Pac's lyricism. He could do that too. One day I would love. We're still waiting on main event time for Chris Eubank, Liam Smith. Commercials being shown. We're waiting for ring walk time. So stick around, chat. But back to singing. Yeah, that's the Four Tops, right? I thought it was the OJs. You're right. It is the Four Tops. I'm tripping. The OJs did not sing that. It was the Four Tops. OJ sang another one I like, but was it talking about? Oh yeah, one day I'd like to read Troublesome 96 from a book, with a cigar pipe, like a tobacco pipe, and the glasses, like I'm reading Shakespeare, and I'd like to flip the page and read Troublesome 96 from Tupac, and be like, you can take me in heaven and understand I was a G. I did the best I could, raised in this entity. Or send me to hell, cause I'm not begging for my life. Ain't nothing worse than this cursed ass, hopeless life. I'm troublesome. And close the book. I want to do that one day. That'd be funny, right? But I had a haircut like that in high school. Now I'm bald. Hey man, why'd you cut it? You should have kept it real. Should have kept the hair long, brother. I'm like Samson. I can't cut it. It's my power. It's like Samson in the Bible. Can't cut it. All right. Still waiting on main event time to get going, man. Still waiting on main event time to get going. Did someone just send me $129 from SEK? What country is this? Thank you, Connie Charles Lidstrom. It's in yellow, so I think it translates to like $15 in the United States, but thank you so much for the super chat, Connie Charles. I appreciate that. Tupac killed Trapped and Same. Yeah, Trapped is a very lyrical song from him. What's my pick? Liam Smith. I think it takes him longer this time, but the same result. So let's see. Seriously though, I think reading Troublesome from the book like it's that'd be really funny. I'll have to do that one day on the live. $129! No, thank you so much, Connie Charles. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Happy you're enjoying the live. Get these fighters out for fuck's sake, says Metalbox J. I agree. Connie got paid. Thank Connie Charles. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you so much. Where is SEK coming from? What country is that? I didn't cut it off, man. It fell off, dog. Oh, okay. Well, shout out to you, man. You're a real one for getting it bald. and not holding on to it Hulk Hogan style. Brian Mendoza versus Tim Tszyu prediction. Tim Tszyu. Shout out to Brian. Knockout of the year against Fundora. Super courageous. Incredible guts by Brian Mendoza. Great person. Very happy for him. Didn't see that left hook coming. That was incredible. But I think against Tim Tszyu, I got Tim Tszyu. It should be a fun fight, though. But if you really want some Gotti Ward shit, you got to put Charles Conwell in there with Tim Tszyu. That would be pure and utter violence. That shit would be disgusting. And I'd be all for it. Come on in. Or like Christina Aguilera once said, come on over. Let's go. Thank you. 2 spicy chicken sandwiches, baby.
I think the Jay-Z reference was, remember he did a cover of that song? Ha 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 ha. Remember?
He did a cover to Ain't No Woman Like the One I Got.
Said, no one can do it better.
Oh, no, you're right, with Foxy Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, with Foxy Brown. Yeah. I'll be the best of the best chick. No need for you to ever be the next chick. With speed. Indeed. It's a Hawaiian Sophie, corny sounding motherfucker, like Pac said. What?
Hey, I got this from...
He has to show everybody their skeleton.
Come here, show him.
Hey, I got it from Target.
Where'd you get it? Show him.
Skeleton.
Show him.
Look,
Who got it for you?
my mom.
Can you give mommy a hug? We just got $50.
Oh, yay!
Cause of Leo. Cause of Leo.
That's so cute.
Thank you so much, Jamie McGregor.
Look at the hippo.
And it's a hippo. Look, Leo. Look at the little hippo. Look. This guy really likes Daddy talking. He gave you a happy...
Aww.
Look, it's a happy hippo with money.
It says, what's up, Bams?
Hey.
Will you say thank you?
Thank you.
There you go.
Look.
What's up?
It glow up.
It glows up.
Dark. We're very
Have
excited.
fun, okay? Thank you for the sandwich.
Have a good life.
Yes.
Yes.
She's the best, chat. The best. The best woman walking God's green earth lives in Las Vegas in my house. Jamie McGregor, thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. W. Wifey says, Rob, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yeah, my man got the Walmart. He got the Target gift. A little slight upgrade from Walmart gift. And Target gifts are clutch. No waffle fries. I figure, that's extra calories at that point. I shouldn't even be eating this, to be real. You know what would be nice, chat? If on this Chris Eubank, Liam Smith round by round live, that's almost 3 hours long, if we actually got to do a round by round of Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith. I think that'd be appropriate at this point. James Jackson says, beautiful fam, bro. Thank you. Roofing Guttering says, love from the Irish. Thank you, brother, for tuning in all the way from the beautiful Emerald Island. Thank you, brother. Shout out to all the Irish. Great people, great country. Much loves. Boxing Analyst said, put those sandwiches in a blender and drink it up. Ugh, that sounds nasty. Boxing Analyst is on his own shit. He doesn't care. Give us a hail, hail for all of us hoops in Scotland. Hail, hail! Scotland people are crazy and tough. Not to stereotype all of you, but every Scottish person I met wants to kick somebody's ass, doesn't know how to not speak their mind. So, shout out to Scotland and Ireland. Kid needs shaved head. No, he doesn't, cunt. No, he doesn't, cunt. Don't live up to your name, cunt, by offering up haircut advice to Leo. Leo's head. Leo got all the little girls in preschool, chasing after him with that head of hair. All right, here we go. Main event time is coming. It's coming, chat. We will at some point actually have a Liam Smith versus Chris Eubank Jr. round by round live commentary. It will happen. Do I watch One Piece? No, not an anime guy. Just Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball. That's it. Just Dragon Ball. Oh, Mark Contreras, thank you, brother. Cunny Charles, thank you again, brother, for that super chat. Cunny Charles said, you have Irish roots. I do. That's why my name is spelled that way. Sean, the Gaelic way. My mom's Italian. Her family came from up north in Italy, Torino. And then the other side of her family from down south in Palermo in Sicily. That was their roots. Her mom and dad were from San Francisco. Their parents were Italian from Italy. So yeah, mom's side Italian, dad's side Irish German. Yeah, dad's mom was from County Cork, Ireland. You know, or no, her mom was from County Cork, Ireland. They came to Ellis Island in New York. And then my dad's dad, his family was from Germany. That's where the Zettel comes from. So I get my Guinea face from my Italian side on my mom's side. I get my Irish name from my dad's mom, and I get my last name from Germany from my dad's dad, OG John Zettel, who had 14 kids, 10 boys. Yes, sir. That's the background. All right, ring walk's finally about to start, and it looks like Chris Eubank will have to make his ring walk first, being that he lost fight number 1. He will have to come out first and presumably be introduced first as well. So, right now, up on the big screen, Chris Eubank, they're showing a montage of him at the Top Rank Gym at the Mayweather Boxing Club, training out here in Vegas with Bo Mack. Now they're showing a highlight reel of his, and we're finally about to get started with main event time. So, awesome. Yo, Sean, do you think trans fighters should have their own league? Yeah. I don't think, you know, trans people that used to be men can fight women. No, fuck no. That's dumb. Those sandwiches are extremely spicy. They are. They're wonderful. They are wonderfully spicy. In my opinion, they're better than Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich. Maybe that's the next poll in the chat after Eubank and Smith. Who has the better spicy chicken sandwich? Chat, are you serious? Really, chat? You're picking Eubank? Picking Eubank, chat? Okay, chat. Okay, chat. All right, here comes Chris Eubank to the ring. Looks both. And I'm usually pretty good at reading these fighters' eyes. They come to the ring. Eubank, nervous and focused. Now those eyes are narrowing a little bit, starting to get that predator look to him a little bit. Looks focused. Eubank looks both focused and nervous. A fair bit of both. He's putting on a face like he's all business and ready to go. But I think a little bit of it might be a brave face from Eubank. But no, he's locked in. Eubank is looking locked in, coming to the ring. Also looking a bit nervous, but also locked in at the same time. Like he's fighting those doubts on the way to the ring. Just reading his eyes, he's fighting those doubts on the way to the ring. And trying to turn it up mentally. Get in that zone. Now he begins to rap some of his song that he comes to the ring with. Coming in wearing green and white, Chris Eubank Jr., the son of the great super middleweight Chris Eubank Sr., and he's about to become visible to the arena now as we are finally ready for main event time. Good stuff. Thank you everyone so far for this in your chat. This is awesome. The Boxing Channel 2 said, thanks for all your passion, for all your work, Sean. Glad you get to work at your passion. Thank you guys. You guys make it possible by tuning in to see a guy talk in front of his, desktop, by rocking and supporting. So this is awesome. Here comes Eubank now to the ring. Got his white winning gloves on. Not the puncher's glove by any mean. White and green robe with some gold trim. And not 1,000,000% sure of himself. I see a fighter that is both focused, fighting doubts, and nervous in Chris Eubank Jr. Not a fighter who's 1,000,000% convinced he's going to win, but as he now is visible by the arena, he looks very serious, very focused, Chris Eubank. And now he's ready to step through the ropes, making his way up the steps in the ring. Green, gold, and white are the colors tonight. Puts his ear up to the crowd, and he looks ready to shut a lot of people up, like myself included tonight. Does Chris Eubank? Can he do it? Can he shut everybody up and reverse his fortunes? He jumps in over the top rope and then shoe shines with his uppercuts. Does Chris Eubank Jr., the taller, longer man with faster hands, Chris Eubank Jr. in the ring now. A little slow-mo on that high jump over the top rope that got him into the ring. So here we go. Someone said he looks like Dak Prescott. That's funny. Connie Charles Lindstrom says passion, knowledge equals the unbeatable combo Sean. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the support. Appreciate that. And every time I read your last name, I'm reminded of, I'm not even a big hockey player, but I'm reminded of Nick Lidstrom on the Red Wings. Come on, chat. I know a lot of us didn't actually watch hockey, but we all played the hockey video games, right? And we all picked the Red Wings because they had like 690 players on there, and one of them was Nick Lidstrom. So that's what I'm forced to think of when I see Connie Charles Lindstrom. All right, here we go. Now, with Chris Eubank Jr. in the ring, only a plus 160 underdog. Despite getting knocked out in a few short rounds, not really a big underdog tonight is Chris Eubank. In our own chat, 55% of the people, let me see how many people voted on our live today. Out of 413 votes here on FightHype Live, 55% of you believe that Chris Eubank Jr. is going to win this fight and not Liam Smith, who won the first fight by knockout. We'll see. Chris Eubank shuts a lot of people up tonight. We shall see. The Red Wings. Yes, John Copron. Exactly, the Red Wings. We all use them, and if we didn't use them, we used the Avalanche. Come on now. We wanted to use the Mighty Ducks, but they usually sucked. All right, here they go. Here comes Liam Smith to the ring, very calm, very cool, calm, collected, like he knows now he looks down and gets a little bit of nerves in him, but no, Smith walking to the ring with a grin and a wink. Very, very confident. He believes he's got this guy's number. And that even if he's just walking to the ring like a guy who knows he's going to win this fight, who knows he's got the other fighter's number. But that could be a sign of overconfidence that lets Liam Smith down tonight in this rematch. But otherwise, if it goes to script like he thinks he is, he's strolling in like a guy who knows he's got Chris Eubank Jr.'s number. Sometimes that is the case with boxing. A lot of grinning and a lot of smile and winks as he makes his way to the ring. Liam Smith, the gray-haired 30-something, Liam Smith. The man had gray hair in his late 20s, God bless him. But here he comes to the ring. His best punch, he's the shorter, less athletic, not as fast as Chris Eubank, but not as rangy, but he has better fundamentals, has a better high guard, has a better chin. I think he's got a little bit more heart than Chris Eubank, and he's got a very nice left hook and left uppercut, does Liam Smith. So we'll see if he can pull it off again tonight. Might have to take longer than it did the first time, or Eubank turns the tables. We'll see. Looking forward to this. Grant Cardone versus Dak Prescott. I don't know Grant Cardone. Sleepy says he sees another fourth-round knockout. John Bay says Smith the silverback. Tay-Day said, what was the news about Alicia? I haven't seen it yet, Tay-Day. I got to look up and see if anything new came up with Alicia Baumgartner. Been tuned into this live for about 3 hours now. So here we go. He's got a great left elbow, too, says Mr. Unique. Fair enough. Fair enough. Over 500 people in the chat. Liam Smith making his way to the ring now, decked out in all blue. Says he's raising the roof to the fans, telling them, come on, come on. And he, again, looks very confident, like a fighter who's assured of victory against another fighter that he knows he's got his number. That's the energy of Liam Smith. The energy of Chris Eubank was tense, serious, focused, and nervous. So we shall see. John Bay says, we appreciate you, Sean. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys, too. Boxing analyst said Baumgartner pregnant. Are you guys fucking with me in the chat? Are you guys fucking with me in the chat? Did Tony Harrison knock up Baumgartner? Are you guys fucking with me in the chat? Okay, here comes Liam Smith to the ring now. Power walking his way to the ring, saying, yeah, let's go, let's get it. Bangs his gloves forward, shadow boxes a little bit, and again, extremely confident against the more tense and nervous and focused and serious Chris Eubank Jr., the very confident Liam Smith. Did he come in overconfident? Did he think it was going to be another walk in the park? Is he not as well conditioned for this fight as Chris Eubank is? But Smith into the ring now. Now he's in the ring. Blue robe with gold trim. Got that little Beatles knockoff logo on the back that says the Smiths. And here he is in the ring. The former 154-pound WBO world champion. Lost that belt to Canelo. Knocked out Jesse Vargas. Fought Jaime Munguia. Good fighter. And here he is. So here we go. Both fighters coming to the ring now. Or they're in the ring now. And now Sky Sports ring announcer man is introducing both. Let's get going here. Neil Spears says, Smith not with Bomac, it's Eubank. Neil, he only had one fight with him, brother. I don't know if that's enough for Bomac to work his magic. We'll see. We'll see. That chicken is good. That shit is crispy. All right. Liam Smith, again, very confident in the ring. Let's see Eubank's demeanor. Let's put the camera on Eubank. Let me take a look at him. Eubank, tense and nervous. Tense, serious, and nervous is Eubank. Bouncing up and down in the ring. Again, though, I do wonder if Liam Smith's a little overconfident in his demeanor here. We shall see. But that's why it reminds me of Hay and Bellew. Bellew was kind of overconfident. Bellew was, I got this guy's number any day of the week. And that's what Liam Smith's energy is right now, like Bellew was with Hay. Dwayne Willis says, who's winning? Hasn't started yet, brother. Stick around. We're about to start round one. Chris Eubank doing the Hulk Hogan, saying, can I hear you? Can I hear you out there? He must be getting booed and using it to egg him on. Let me hear. Bomac by his side. Esau Diegas, red spikes. Team Crawford by Chris Eubank Jr.'s side. Here we go. All right, here we go. Eubank keeps telling the crowd, let me hear those boos. Bomac is definitely an asset in his corner. Bomac would love nothing more than to shut these Brits up for Chris. I'm sure. He loves shit like that. Here we go. Eubank. Now Smith getting derobed. Not quite as chiseled as Chris Eubank is tonight. 33 wins, 3 losses, 20 knockouts for the 35-year-old Liam Smith with the draw. Smith extremely confident tonight, guys. Extremely confident. Is just got the demeanor of he feels it's inevitable he'll get to this guy again and that he's got his number. And again, Eubank in the opposite corner, serious, tense, egging the crowd on, saying, let me hear you. And he wants nothing more than to shut everybody up and turn the tables on Liam Smith. Smith has the demeanor of that's just not going to happen tonight. But he may be a little overconfident in his demeanor. We're going to find out very shortly. Here we go. Almost 600 people now in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. We are about to start round one any moment now. Both fighters receiving instructions in the center of the ring from the referee. Eubank snarling at Liam Smith in the center of the ring. And then he backs off a little bit off that look. First he started with that, like Terrence Crawford did Errol when Errol looked away, kind of snarling at him. And then kind of subsided it. All right, both guys go back to their corners. Elder Dragon in the chat says that Liam is overconfident. Elder Dragon says, Bomac knows that Liam is slow. Counter him. Here we go. Mr. Mam says, best man wins. Absolutely. As always, may the best man win. Part 2. Chris Eubank versus Liam Smith here on this live round by round. Let's get it going, chat. Waiting for this bell. All right. Chris Eubank with Sebastian on the back of his trunks. Probably the name of his son. And referee, center ring. Ding, ding. Let's go. Let's box. Round 1. Smith, high guard. Eubank keeping his hands up more than he did to start fight number 1. And he starts with his jab. Lands that first jab. Falls short with the second one. Smith in the center of the ring. Gloves up. Double jab by Eubank. Working his jab early on. Staying in the center. Jab to the body by Eubank. Almost gets countered by a jab up top by Liam Smith. Smith getting a nice little left hook to the body. And Eubank tying him up in the center of the ring 30 seconds into the fight. Now Smith gets Eubank to the ropes. Misses with a left uppercut in the clinch. They break. Eubank back on his jab. Smith trying to counter with a jab to the body. Eubank feinting the jab. Eubank stepping over to his right. Smith coming forward with his own jab. Now Eubank near the ropes. Shoots a nice little jab that sets up a sweeping right hand to the body and a short left hook up top that lands for Chris Eubank. Now Eubank landing a short little right hand over the top of Liam Smith's jab as they trade jabs. But Smith finishing up. Eubank in the clinch, letting go of his right hand twice to the body and to the head, and then ducking away in the clinch. Smith looking a little frustrated after this first minute already. But Eubank's body language not the best in these clinches. Eubank off to a decent start. Eubank short with the jab, stepping over to his right. Smith feints. Eubank shoots that jab back in there, keeps it in his face. Eubank lands the jab and ties Smith up in the center of the ring. As Smith getting hit with little right hands on the inside in the clinch by Eubank. Good first half of the round for Eubank right now. Eubank back on the ropes, but the referee breaks him apart into the center of the ring. Smith in the high guard. Eubank keeping his hands up. Now he drops that hand a little bit, shoots a jab to the body, almost eats a right hand counter for dropping that left hand low and jabbing to the body. Eubank outworking Smith in the clinch right now, but his body language is uncomfortable in those clinches, even though he's outworking Smith in those clinches. You can tell he really doesn't want to get hit, and he turns his head away completely. Now the referee warning both guys. Eubank ahead in this round right now with about a minute left. Eubank doubles up the jab, shoots a combination. Smith with the high guard catches the combination well, but Eubank getting off first with those faster, quicker hands on the outside. Eubank taking little half steps back, catches the jab of Smith and jabs back at him. Smith blocks it. 40 seconds left in this round. Smith dipping over to his right, trying to set up the straight right hand off the head movement, but misses. Getting rough in the clinch with Eubank. Eubank really trying not to give anything to Smith in those clinches, leaning his head completely across the way. Short little right hand hits Smith, and Smith smiles on the inside in that clinch. Referee breaks him apart. Eubank doing a lot of clinching in round 1, and the referee allowing him to. Smith starting to look at the referee for the excessive clinching. 10 seconds left. Eubank looking down at the canvas after, odd little body language quirks by Eubank, but he wins round 1 decisively. And that's it. Some roughhousing tactics in the clinch towards down the stretch. And that'll do it. 10-9. Chris Eubank Jr. wins round 1 on my card. 10-9. A solid start for Chris Eubank in terms of, he's definitely getting off first with the faster hands on the outside, out jabbing Liam Smith. But in those clinches, he can't hold forever. The referee will begin to warn him. And he looks very uncomfortable on the inside. And at some point, he will have to contend with, the left hook and and what Smith. He can't just clinch all night long. So, good first round for Eubank, but I don't know if he can sustain this long term based on what I saw there. But 10-9 Chris Eubank Jr. after the first. 619 Cali Factor says, come on, Eubank, I got money on you. UT says, yep, round 1 goes to Eubank. Elder Dragon says, wonderful, wonderful. Peter Brown says, messy. Linda Wood says, yay for Bomac, because Bomac got his fighter that first round. But he won round 1 last time, too. Here we go, round 2, and we'll see if Eubank can sustain this. Smith trying to mount a little bit of pressure in the high guard. Straight right hand to the body by Liam Smith. Almost catches a nasty left hook counter by Chris Eubank Jr. as he reached down to the body. Eubank working his jab. Smith catching it on the high guard. Smith, lead left hook, gets countered by a short left hook by Eubank. Neither guy getting hit too clean, but Eubank got the better of it that time, countering the left hook of Liam Smith coming in. Center of the ring for both fighters. Eubank holding his ground pretty well. Nice jab to the body by Chris Eubank. Keeps his ground in the center of the ring. Now moves back a little bit, touches the high guard with a left hook and punches in combination. Smith catching that on the high guard, but Eubank getting off a combination there. Eubank holding for dear life on the inside, not letting Smith go. And now the referee gives a little look at Eubank, but no warning yet. Minute into the second, Eubank off to a solid start again. Eubank splits the high guard with a jab, follows up with a combination, lands the left hook in that combination. His sweeping right hand blocked by Liam Smith, but good work with that combination by Chris Eubank. He ties up right after, and the referee warns Liam Smith for punching to the back of the head. No warning yet for the clinching. Eubank touching with his jab, touches the high guard, doubles up the jab and shoots a right uppercut off the double jab. Nice range finding, and then double jab sets up that right uppercut for Chris Eubank. They trade jabs, Eubanks gets in better. Eubank, right uppercut, left hook off the jab, starting to touch up Liam Smith now as Smith stays coming forward. Smith looking at the ref saying, how can I not punch him to the back of the head when he's only giving me the back of his head to punch in the clinch? He's turning his whole body away from me. Eubank pawing with the jab, touches with the jab again in the center of the ring, holding his ground well, holding his real estate well, not letting Smith get forward momentum. Touching with the jab, keeping the jab, and Smith, now he backs him closer to the ropes. Jab to the body by Eubank to keep Smith off. Smith, high guard, not letting go of his hands. Jab falling short on his high guard, jab touching his high guard again, double jab by Chris Eubank, and he gets his way back into the center of the ring with that double jab. Smith looking a little frustrated here early on by Eubank's tactics. Referee breaks him apart on the ropes. 30 seconds left in the round. Smith in that high guard. Touch jab by Eubank. Eubank stepping over to his right. Not getting driven to the ropes. Double jab, right uppercut. Falls short for Eubank. Smith forced to have to try to counter a little bit now because he's walking into shots. Eubank getting off first, touching the gloves of Smith, not landing those 3 shots in the center of the ring. Double jab for Chris Eubank. That first jab blocked. Second jab got in. Right uppercut was blocked. Down goes Liam Smith, but it was off a push by Chris Eubank. But Eubank imposing himself down the stretch of round 2. He's up 2 rounds to nothing, 20-18 for Chris Eubank Jr. right now. Smith looking a little frustrated in the corner right now. So right now, Eubank off to a good start. 2-zip Eubank. So you guys know I call it down the middle. I may have picked Smith to win, but once the fight starts, all that's out the window. And Eubank is the better man right now early in this fight. Smith already looking a little frustrated, and that's not a good sign for him. And the referee is doing him no favors in the clinches. An odd warning by the referee for warning for back of the head punches for Smith, but not for the excessive clinching of Chris Eubank, who is tying up immediately and not looking to fight. But here we go. 2-zip heading into round 3 for Chris Eubank Jr. Smith out of his corner, and now Eubank slower to get off his stool, but here we go from round 3. This is where the fight changed for Liam Smith last time. He lost the first 2 rounds last time, but he didn't look as frustrated as he does tonight. Smith landing that jab and fires a combination by Eubank. Eubank mostly getting his combination blocked that time, but still getting off more often with the quicker hands. Eubank trying to counter over the top of Liam Smith's jab, but now a nice little sharp jab lands for Chris Eubank in the center of the ring. Smith tightening up his guard even more. Eubank wisely trying to split the guard with his jab. Jabs to the body, but gets countered by a jab up top. But 2 right uppercuts land for Chris Eubank. One to the body, one to the head. Follows it up with a combination. Smith blocking in the high guard, but Eubank continues to get the better of this action right now. Eubank with a double jab clinches Smith immediately and turns his back to him, but no warning by the referee. Minute into this round, straight right hand lands for Liam Smith over the top of the jab of Eubank. Best punch of the fight so far for Liam Smith. Now Eubank overshoots his jab, but getting off in the clinch with free right hands. But back comes Liam Smith with his right hand to the body. And I think he may have gotten Eubank's attention a little bit in the clinch with that last right hand. Referee, odd break in time. Now they resume it. But Smith starting to get closer with the right hand. Landed a straight right hand up top. Nice uppercut by Chris Eubank. Double jab, sets up the right uppercut. Nice jab again. Right uppercut getting blocked, but the left hook to the body landing on Liam Smith. Good combination in the center of the ring by Chris Eubank Jr. Smith trying to stay on top of him after withstanding that combination. Nice jab by Chris Eubank, walking Smith into it as he applies pressure. Another nice jab by Chris Eubank. Now he doubles it up, takes something off of it. Right hand lands for Liam Smith. Hard right hand. Big right hand over the top of that jab, and Eubank holds on. That's the biggest punch of the fight, but Eubank's legs are fine. That was a big right hand by Liam Smith. Perfectly measured off the touch jab and landed that straight right hand. Eubank alert. Hands up. Shoots his jab. I think that that right hand got his attention. Eubank gets that right uppercut blocked, but beautiful left hook to the body by Chris Eubank, throwing some good combinations. That left hook to the body's gotten in a couple times. 30 seconds left in the round. Eubank still ahead in this round, but Smith landed the hardest punch of the round with that right hand. Eubank steps off to his right, then holds his ground, steps off to his left, keeps his hands up, not getting to the ropes, falls into a clinch. Smith trying to get off in the clinch, but can't quite hit him in the clinch. Eubank burying his head to the side and in his chest. 10 seconds left. Another Eubank round, but Smith did get his attention with that right hand. Nice jab, sets up another right uppercut by Chris Eubank, and I think I think some of these punches are getting to Liam Smith. Liam Smith has a good poker face, but some of those left hooks to the body and some of those right uppercuts, the right uppercut is always Eubank's best shot, sets it up off his jab, and Eubank landing that right uppercut. 30-27 for Chris Eubank Jr. right now. Liam Smith did land probably the best shot of that round, a hard right hand with about 50 seconds left, but Eubank took it well, so he's up 30-27 right now. 3-zip for Chris Eubank Jr. About 840 people in the chat. Shout out to you, chat. Thank you. School of Skills says early body work. Peter Brown says Smith is not doing enough. And yeah, Eubank is investing to that body right now. He's doing a good job. The right uppercut, left hook, the 4-3. He'll double jab, right uppercut, and when Smith blocks it up top, he's finishing with the hook to the body nicely, is Chris Eubank. Here we go in round 4 now. Double jab, right uppercut by Chris Eubank. Doesn't land at all, but good sequence to start. Double left hook to the body and sets up a sweeping right hand that knocked the sweat off of Liam Smith's head. And that was a good sequence of punches by Chris Eubank. Smith now getting rough in the clinch, letting go of his hands in the clinch, but gets warned by the referee for a punch to the back of the head. All right, but good start to the round by Chris Eubank. Jab, uppercut, down goes Liam Smith. The jab set up the right uppercut, down goes Liam Smith. And this is officially Chris Eubank Jr.'s fight and maybe his night now. Smith now hurt from that uppercut. He's up. Referee calls for time as the mouthpiece was knocked out. But Chris Eubank is having a hell of a performance right now. Beautiful right uppercut. And Liam Smith, after getting a raw deal by the ref on the punches to the back of the head, is getting all the time in the world to recover from that right uppercut. So here we are in the 4th. Smith has been down. That right uppercut was a thing of beauty. That's been the setup. Nice jab lands for Chris Eubank. Eubank shooting that right uppercut again. And then he finishes with a left hook to the body. Smith is having problems on defense with the combination punching. A right uppercut again for Chris Eubank. Beautiful right uppercuts by Chris Eubank right now. Beautiful right up. Splits the high guard with the jab. Another right uppercut, but Smith moving away from it this time. And this is all Chris Eubank Jr. right now. Smith is going to have to go for broke and let go of that left hook, but at long range against the quicker, more athletic Eubank, who's really throwing a good jab tonight and doing good under Bomac, he has no answers. Halfway through the 4th, Eubank has Smith's respect now, is in control. Nice jab and a double left hook off the jab by Chris Eubank. finally showcasing the talent he was blessed with. Left hook to the body and a left hook up top. Punching in combination is Chris Eubank beautifully. Eubank nodding at Smith, enjoying his work. Eubank, up jab, falls short. Smith, no answers right now out of the high guard. No answers for the more offensively creative and dynamic Chris Eubank Jr. in the center of the ring. Jab to the body by Smith, gets countered quickly by the right hand up top by Chris Eubank. Smith getting the gloves up to block the counter, but Eubank's countering is much better tonight, and his jab is splitting the high guard constantly, and he gets combinations off that jab. 1-2 through the center, lands for Chris Eubank. He is pelting Liam Smith now in the fourth. 30 seconds left in the round. Nice up jab, lands for Chris Eubank. He's splitting the guard at will with that up jab. Splits the guard again with the up jab, does Chris Eubank Jr. 20 seconds left in the round. Eubank feinting, shoots the jab, landing that jab beautifully all night. Now Liam Smith is trying to counter. Up jab, splits the guard again beautifully, and Liam Smith forced to blow his nose, wipe his nose, as that jab is landing at will. Smith backed up on the ropes. Some of the fight looks like it's getting taken out of him by Chris Eubank Jr. 4 rounds to nothing for Chris Eubank Jr. 40-35. It's all Chris Eubank Jr. shutting a lot of people like me up tonight, and good on him. Combinations are looking good. Good punch selection on his combinations. If he's blocking here, drops it down here. If he's catching down here, comes it up here. He's good punch placement on these combinations by Chris Eubank. Good stuff. Good stuff. Excellent commentary, Sean, says TBR. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. United 90 says best commentary 100%. Thank you, brother. Yeah, they're doing their thing, man. I'm a little. Oh, it's not that I'm a little late. It's that when you live stream on YouTube, there's like a 15-second delay. So that's where that delay is coming from. I'm seeing all the action as it's unfolding. Here we go, round 5 now. Liam Smith needs to find some answers. He looks like he's going to try to counter in the exchange, but good luck. You're never going to have much success trying to counter a faster guy. Good jab. Liam Smith is getting tore up by these combinations, and it all is off the jab. Left hook to the body, 2 combinations by Chris Eubank. Left hook landing, right uppercut landing, left uppercut landing off the left hook to the body, left hook up top, sweeping right hand up top. Eubank throwing a 30-punch combination with Liam Smith along the rope. Smith moving his head, covering up, but not returning fire offensively. If he's looking for a big counter left hook, he's got to let it go now, but the body punches are taking the fight out of him. Hard left hook to the body, sweeping right hand to the body. Chris Eubank won't stop throwing punches. He won't stop throwing punches, non-stop body shots, and following up with combinations to the head. Liam Smith hardly threw any punches. All he did was move his head. He didn't let go of any left hook counters. Chris Eubank Jr. taking a deep breath after throwing what looked like about a 40 or 50 punch combination with Liam Smith along the ropes. Ate a lot of body work, did Liam Smith. Even though Eubank has to be tired, he had to take some of the steam out of Liam Smith with that barrage. Halfway through the 5th, that was a huge barrage by Chris Eubank Jr. Liam Smith still with the high guard, still staying in front of Chris Eubank Jr. But this is Chris Eubank Jr. with a short left uppercut. Another short left uppercut. Liam Smith's legs are starting to buckle. This fight is not going anywhere good for Liam Smith right now. Straight right hand to the body. Lands a little bit for Smith, and he misses the left hook up top. He can't catch Eubank tonight. Minute 10 left in the 5th. Liam Smith getting closer with the right hand. Eubank bending down. Eubank maybe a little tired after that big explosive barrage of shots. Smith has got to come with something in this last minute. He is out of this fight right now. He is not in this fight. Jab lands for Eubank. Steps off to his left. Shoots the jab again. Smith catching it on the high guard. Eubank has Smith on a string. 40 seconds left. Smith stepping over to his right. Misses the jab. Pulls Smith down after he misses the jab. Very smart. Misses the jab and then pulls his head down so he can't respond. 30 seconds left. Eubank moving his upper body in front of Liam Smith. Smith stepping forward with the jab. Gets nothing done. Eubank tying him up again. Eubank tying him up good. 10 seconds left in this round. Another Eubank round. Smith not able to come back and answer anything after eating 40 or 50 unanswered shots. Liam Smith slow on the 1-2. He is having a lot of problems landing on Chris Eubank. 50-44, 5 rounds to nothing with the knockdown in round 4 by Chris Eubank Jr. It's all Chris Eubank Jr. right now. Jeff Tupo says, love your honesty even though you pick Smith. That's how I do it, brother. I may pick someone, but once the fight starts, that's out the window. May the best man win. So, Bomac is a hell of a trainer. Yes, he is. Scouzer's not happy, says Cunt. Here we go on the replay. Slow-mo replay. That jab, setting up a left hook to the body, and then another sharp piston jab up top, and then Eubank just getting off 2 or 3 to 1 with the hand speed advantage. And he lets go of a bunch of combinations up top, body head. Roy Jones isn't in the corner anymore, but he'd be proud of that body head combo. Liam didn't take advantage of Eubank's fatigue, says UT. I don't know if there was enough gas in the tank. He ate a lot of body shots. He's eaten a lot of punishment. I don't know how much steam is left in Smith, even though he hasn't thrown a whole lot of punches tonight. Round 6. All Chris Eubank Jr. Very easy fight to score right now. Eubank has out-jabbed him, has not given away too much real estate, hasn't let Liam Smith get him to the ropes. Kept the fight in the center of the ring where his superior hand speed, counter-punching, better jab. Oh, man, these body shots are starting to buckle over Liam Smith in the center of the ring. Eubank is giving him the business to the body. Nice jab, right uppercut. And Liam Smith is hurt in the center of the ring. He's buzzed. He's having a good poker face, but he's getting hurt now time and again by Chris Eubank. And he's not finding any adjustments. Smith staying in front with that high guard. No adjustments, no answers for the superior athlete in Eubank. Eubank continues to punch in combination. Double jab, straight right hand, left hook. Splits the high guard with 2 up jabs. This fight is just about over unless Smith can just land a home run shot. Another up jab, 2 up jabs. Smith just eating those jabs, completely splitting the high guard. He thinks about jabbing, and over the top with a right hand counter comes Eubank. Right hand counter by Smith, just off the mark over Eubank's jab, but not getting in there. Nice jab to the body by Liam Smith. He blocks the right hand counter, but Eubank's so alert, he's countering everything right now. And Smith doesn't look like he has a whole lot of fight in him right now. He's got a good poker face. He's staying in front. That up jab keeps knocking up the head and splitting the high guard of Liam Smith. Splitting it right through the center. Great jab tonight by Eubank. Another jab lands for Eubank. He's staying right in front of Smith, not giving too much ground. Little half steps to the left, little half steps to the right, little half steps back, but not up on his bike, not giving Smith forward momentum, not letting him take him to the ropes. And he's earned Smith's respect with his power after that knockdown. Nice jab again by Eubank. Smith is not getting off. He's handcuffed. He's handcuffed in the high guard. 50 seconds left in the round. Another Eubank round. Dominated this round with the jab mostly. Left hook just off the mark for Eubank. Tried to step inside of that jab of Eubank, but Eubank smothered it, and now he clinches him. Eubank has gotten away with some excessive holding. He has. 30 seconds left. Eubank short with the up jab, but Smith not throwing shots. Blocks the up jab again. Touch jab by Eubank. Now he's backing Smith up. Shoots a jab to the body and a straight right hand up top. Smith pulls out of range. Now Smith resumes staying in front. Oh, but blocks the combination with the left uppercut, capping off that combination by Eubank, splitting the guard a little bit. Another jab lands for Eubank near the end of the 6th. And another jab lands for Eubank. And he misses the 1-2. Left uppercut lands for Liam Smith, though, right at the bell. But that's it. That's another Eubank round. 60-53. 7-point advantage with the knockdown in round 4. It's all Chris Eubank right now. And that round 6, he basically won with his jab. Did land a right uppercut. Did put together a couple of combinations where he snuck a power shot in there as he punched in combination. But for the most part, he's just dominating. He dominated Liam Smith with the jab that round. Smith had no answers defensively. He ate almost every jab through the center of his high guard, and it's all Chris Eubank Jr. right now. We are about to officially enter the second half of this fight, Quentin says throw in the towel, done. I would say that, but Smith, remember Brian Mendoza against Sebastian Fundora. All it takes is one left hook, and Eubank doesn't have a very good chin, but Smith is just not finding the mark right now. 60-53. Here we go now, round 7. Eubank isn't fighting like Roy Jones now, which is good, says Chiki in Boxing. No, he picked his hands up much higher and is fighting much better. Good jabs to start by Chris Eubank, continuing to out-jab Liam Smith. Oh, now a jab lands for Liam Smith, knocks the head up of Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank wild with a left hook counter, missed the mark. Now he's back to touching the high guard, misses a right uppercut, does Chris Eubank. Splits the high guard with the jab, follows up with a little short combination and punctuates with a jab. Another up jab. The jab landing at will for Chris Eubank right now in the fight. Chris Eubank straight right hand to the body, sets up a jab up top. Lowered those elbows of Smith. The jab splitting the guard, sets up a left hook to the body. Liam Smith is hurt from that left hook to the body. I don't know if Eubank knows it, but that left hook to the body, all set up from the jab up top, jab, boom, hook to the body. Nice stuff by Chris Eubank. Eubank fighting a beautiful fight. Eubank half step back, makes Smith fall short the jab, ties him up. Ties him up in the center of the ring. Referee breaks him apart, back at long range where Eubank's in control. Eubank not fighting like Roy Jones at all. No, he's fighting with the hands right here, and he's shooting the up jab, but not the up jab from the hip. It's just a little bit lower than the lead hand when he shoots it. Like that. Doing a little bit like that. Good stuff by Chris Eubank. Oh, nice. The jab sets up a straight right hand through the center. Liam Smith rolling away from that shot, taking the effect off of it. Liam Smith, nice jab to the body by Liam Smith. But it's going to take a lot more than a jab to the body to turn this fight around. This is a Eubank round right now, landing his jab up top at will. And now he finishes with a combination out of the clinch. Short right hands, right uppercut to the body, sweeping little chopping right hand up top, and then that left hook to the body again. Eubank out fighting Smith on the inside, knowing just when to punch out of the clinch. Minute left in the 7th. Smith with a wild looping right hand, still trying to win this fight by knockout. A jab stumbles Liam Smith back after missing that big looping right hand. Smith still game, eats that up jab that knocks his head up again. And again, that's another jab, lifts his head up. Jab, double jab, second jab lifts Liam Smith's head up in the center of the ring. Eubank, eyes wide open, seeing everything. Radar on full alert. Double jab. Second jab gets in. Third jab. Liam Smith dips off to the left, gets out of the way. Smith finally returning fire with a jab, but falls short. Can't find the distance against the more rangy, athletic Chris Eubank. Eubank, right uppercut to the body, right uppercut up top. Knocks the head up of Liam Smith. Sets it up off the jab. 10 seconds left. Smith forced to give ground and back up as this fight is going on. Straight right hand lands for Chris Eubank off the touch jab. Tries to follow it up with an uppercut. Combination at the bell. And Chris Eubank is talking his shit to Liam Smith. And that's it for round 7. 70-62 for Chris Eubank. He has won all of these rounds. Liam Smith taking his whooping like a man, but he is taking a whooping. Definitely taking a whooping. Yeah, not fighting like Roy Jones, and that's picking his hands up has been a lot better. And, definitely clinching a lot on the inside. And again, when I call that up jab, he's not jabbing from the hip, but lead hand's right here, and he's doing a good job changing the levels with his lead hand. He lowers it just a little bit, shoots that up jab, and Liam Smith is just getting it, splitting the high guard at will. Liam Smith not even trying to. And the reason why Liam Smith isn't trying to bring another glove in front to catch and parry is he knows the second he does this, Eubank is punching in combination and going to come across right there with the hook, which is what he's doing time and again. So, and then he's not selling out going for broke because he's been hurt multiple times in this fight. And I don't know how much work rate he has in him because these body shots, I think, have taken a little steam out of him too. So here we are in the 8th. Eubank is fighting his version of a masterpiece. He just hooked off the jab as a counter. He jabbed to open up Smith, and then hooked off of it beautifully. They trade jabs. Liam Smith knocks his head back with a jab. They trade jabs again. Eubank gets the better of the jab that time. Smith still game, still has some snap on his shots. Oh, hard right hand by Chris Eubank. Double jab, body, head, straight right hand. Moved his head off the line right after he threw it. Nice sequence by him. Jab, right uppercut, lands for Chris Eubank in the center of the ring. Chopping right hand, lands for Liam Smith over the top, but Eubank takes it well. Eubank trying to open up an exchange Smith trying to time Eubank in the exchange now. Eating hot, nasty right hands in the clinch by Eubank. They separate in the clinch. Smith still in front, still game. Little step over to the right by Chris Eubank, and then he clinches Liam Smith, who tried to fire in that left hook when he stepped over to his right. Smith staying in front. Eubank half step back, walks him into the right uppercut, sets up a left hook to the body, off the jab. Jab, right uppercut, left hook to the body. Nice up jab, 2 up jabs. Misses the hook off the jab, does Chris Eubank. Gets his jab blocked. Oh, misses the jab, and back comes Liam Smith with a little sweeping right hand to the body, and he punches in the clinch. Eubank complains it's to the back of the head, but he's completely turning his head in the clinch. Little over a minute left in the 8th. Right hand over the top of Liam Smith's jab lands as a counter for Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank doing a beautiful job of ring generalship and not letting himself get pushed to the ropes. Nice jab lands for Liam Smith, but Eubank keeps him off with his own jab. Eubank keeping him at bay with the jab in the center of the ring. Right uppercut misses. Then he leans down, puts Liam Smith in a headlock. Referee warns him for that. 45 seconds left in the round. 45 seconds left. Eubank very alert. Eyes wide open. Straight right hand counter as they trade jabs. He finishes up after they trade jabs with a straight right hand over the top of Liam Smith's jab. 30 seconds left. Jab to the body for Eubank. Smith trying to straight right hand up top, but too slow. Eubank moving his head off the line, gets down, falls into a clinch. Little right, beautiful job of punching out of the clinch by Eubank. 15 seconds left in the round. 10 seconds left in the round now. Eubank with another round there. Smith trying to time him with a right hand, gets it smothered. And that'll do it for round 8. It's 80-71, 8 rounds to nothing with a knockdown in the 4th for Chris Eubank Jr. Liam Smith knows this guy doesn't have good punch resistance, and what's keeping him up is he just wants to land that left hook late in this fight to see what happens. Will he even get a real chance to land it? I don't know. But Eubank probably fighting the best fight of his career tonight. United 90 says best boxing commentary on YouTube. I appreciate that. Good fight so far, says doesn't matter. Good fight for Chris Eubank Jr. Good fight for Fabian Degusin says, come on, Chris, bully him. Wanting him to close the show, it sounds like. Why do you think Eubank doesn't have a chin? He just doesn't take shots very well. I think he was really hurt before that elbow came in by Liam Smith, so I don't think he takes the power of Smith very well. But he has hardly been hit tonight, so it hasn't had to matter. But we'll see. We are now in the final 4 rounds of the fight, the final third. All Chris Eubank. He has got this fight won on the cards already. Liam Smith needs a knockout. That jab continues to split the high guard for Eubank to start. Oh, nice left uppercut. Right hand lands for Liam Smith, but Eubank took the power fine and came back with a harder right hand counter. He rolled a little something off the uppercut right hand by Liam Smith. Rolled it, came back with a big right hand that knocked the sweat off of Liam Smith's face. Sweeping right hand to the body and a right uppercut. Lands up top for Liam Smith, doing the right hook to the body, right uppercut combo. And Eubank off to another hot start in the 9th. Smith staying in front of him. Eubank touching him with the jab. Feints the jab. Straight right hand, little short left uppercut by Chris Eubank. Punching in between Liam Smith's punches beautifully that time. 2 minutes left in the 9th. Smith staying in front. Eubank lowering his hands now. Left hand from one of the first times tonight. Goes down to his hip. Picks it up a little bit. Jabs to the body. Touches with a jab up top. Jabs up, jabs from the hip. Jabs from the hip again. Splits the high guard. Jabs from the hip again. Splits the high guard. Sweeps the right hand to the body behind that setup. Staying right in front of Liam Smith. Smith not letting go of any shots despite Eubank lowering that left hand to his hip. Straight right hand misses over the top for Liam Smith. Eubank seeing it coming, ducking underneath it, and ties him up after that. Referee breaks him apart. Eubank picking that left hand up, drops it again to his waist, steps over to his right. Eubank stepping over to his right. Up jab, lands that up jab from the hip, and then clinches Liam Smith again. Liam Smith angrily trying to punch out of the clinch, but is tied up by the bigger, stronger man. Minute left in the ninth. Another Eubank round. Eubank touching with the jab. Smith trying to counter with a left hook, step inside of that jab, but gets tied up quickly by Chris Eubank. Very frustrating night for Liam Smith. Touch jab lands for Chris Eubank, and then he sets up a right hand that gets blocked, but comes with 2 uppercuts. Great job all night of Chris Eubank punching in combination. If he blocks the second or third shot, it sets up the fourth and the fifth. Right uppercut lands on the inside for Chris Eubank after he catches well on the inside. He is out fighting Liam Smith on the outside and dominating him on the inside. Beautiful body work, sets up a left uppercut, a 1-2, a chopping right hand. Liam Smith is hurt with 18 seconds left in the ninth. Smith is in the corner, and Smith ties up this time, not Eubank. 10 seconds left in the round. Those combinations to the body and the short left hooks up top, hurting Liam Smith, sapping the energy and the fight out of him. As we close the ninth round, up jab lands for Chris Eubank, and he is feeling himself. 9 rounds to nothing, 90-80. Chris Eubank Jr. putting on his own masterpiece tonight. Man. My gosh. Those uppercuts and the left hook to the body, short little right hands, the up jab, stabbing through the center of the high guard. Everything is working. TBR calls it revenge. This is revenge. Chesamaine says Eubank seems to, thank you for the super chat, brother. Chesamaine says that Eubank seems to be letting Smith off of it, it seems. I think he's weary. You know, he's fighting the perfect fight, and he doesn't want to get greedy. He doesn't want to hook with the hooker. That's what he's making sure, and he's got in some good left hooks, but he's gotten them in at the right time, picking the right spots at the right angles, in combination when Smith already is covering up, not in an offensive position he can counter from. So I think Eubank's smart. He's taking his chances. He's had his foot on the pedal and is going for a stoppage. He's landing combinations and hard shots, but he's not getting greedy. And I think that's smart. Here we go to start round 10. Jab to the body by Chris Eubank. Knocks Liam Smith off balance. Apparently some of that was water in the ring. Jab to the body again by Chris Eubank. Nice stab jab to the body. Double jab to the body. Sets up a straight right hand up top. Chopping right hand up top. Lead left hook. Left uppercut landing for Chris Eubank. And then he sweeps a right hand to the body. Smith is hurt. Smith has not got a lot of fight left in him in the 10th. His body's beginning to go limp from the body work. Up jab lands for Chris Eubank. He could get a stoppage this round. Staying smart about it. Up jab lands again for Chris Eubank, splitting the high guard. Sweeping right hand. Eubank has Smith along the ropes, punching in combination. Smith ducking and getting away. Eats a big left hook as he actually tried to open up for a second. Down goes Liam Smith. The fight is being beaten out of him. He's down again for the second time. This fight is over. Smith opened up, tried his last shot with a big counter, and he actually ate a left hook in that exchange that hurt him. And I think that about did it. Smith is up. He's beating the count. Eubank moving in for the kill. Lands a jab. Smith firing a right hand over the top. Smith body is going limp from the punishment. Makes Eubank miss a right hand. He clinches Eubank. Minute and a half left in the 10th round. And the Smiths might want to throw in the towel. Eubank, jab, sets up a body shot, straight right hand, misses the right uppercut, sweeping right hand to the body lands, left uppercut lands, and that's it. The referee stops the fight. Liam Smith protests, but he wasn't defending himself properly along the ropes, and that does it. It's a 10th round TKO for Chris Eubank Jr. He shuts me up on FightHype Live. He looks into the camera, nods his head, says, "What now?" Shh. Good for Chris Eubank Jr. Great performance by him. As an underdog, not a huge underdog, the bookies know what they're doing. They didn't make him a big underdog tonight, but he shuts up everybody. He knocks out Liam Smith in the 10th round. Now he goes over to Liam Smith to give him a hug, show some good sportsmanship, and that'll do it. Chris Eubank Jr., this makes Bo Mack look extremely good. my props to Chris Eubank Jr. and big props to East Sal Diegas Red Spikes and their leader, Brian Bomac McIntyre, for having Chris Eubank become 4 times the fighter he was under Roy Jones in fight number 1. Credit to Team Crawford for coming in and improving Eubank. Credit to Eubank for proving everybody wrong tonight. He fought a perfect fight, never got too greedy, and then got the knockout. Because while he wasn't being too greedy, his foot was on the pedal. He wasn't just pot-shotting. He was hitting him with everything. His conditioning was impressive because he threw a lot of combinations and never got tired. Smith came in not as good a shape as he did the first fight. Came in a little overconfident in my eyes. And got beat by the guy who was always the more athletic and the more talented fighter. But tonight was just the better fighter all around by leaps and bounds. So I don't think we really need a trilogy. Eubank made the kind of adjustments tonight that Liam Smith just can't answer for. Liam Smith is what he is. He's a high guard guy who puts pressure on and has a good left hook and a left uppercut. He's not going to be able to adjust for any kind of trilogy. Eubank's the better fighter. Credit to him. And at middleweight, he could be the best middleweight in the world. Janibek, I think, would beat him, but middleweight's a very thin division, and he's a talented guy, inheriting the talent from his dad. He's got the right trainer now in Bomac, so Eubank is definitely a threat at 160 pounds. But, hey, thank you, everyone, for joining the chat. We had 1,200 people in here for the live. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a long live. Hope you guys enjoyed the chat. What did we think of the commentary today, chat? Was it solid? I told you guys no bias. No bias. What, did I pick Smith to win? And I didn't score him around. So you never need to worry on Fight Hype Live. You're always going to get it down the middle, baby. Spicy chicken sandwich time. Did not win a round at all. Hey, chat. Shout out to the chat. The chat picked Eubank to win. The chat picked Eubank to win. Shout out to the chat. Yes. Thank you guys saying the commentary was great. I muted the stream and listened to you. Thank you. Good commentary, boss. Good call. Great commentary. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. It probably was great commentary, but too bad I couldn't have been any more wrong. I'm usually right. Not this time. I care most about getting the biggest fights of the year right. I'm undefeated on the big ones. I got this fight wrong. I got Valdez Navarrete wrong. And against my better judgment, I got Oshaki Foster Ray Vargas wrong. When deep down I knew Oshaki was going to win, but then I checked his box rec one too many times, saw he had only been in a 12-rounder once, had never fought in a 10-rounder, had 2 L's, had never fought anybody, and it offset what my eyes already told me on tape when I broke it down that he would beat Vargas. But anyway, shout out to Chris Eubank Jr. This is a great reflection on Team Crawford. So, Percy Baker says, need to replace Tim Bradley. Bro, no, they need to put me in the booth with Tim Bradley, with the great Tim Bradley. Thank you, though, brother. But anything else you guys want me to talk about before I get out of here? Otherwise, I want to eat this second sandwich, and it's been a long live. I'm ready to chill with family. Elio Spinati said, great commentary. Love from UK, bro. V says, appreciate you, bro. Cunt says, what's your next one? I love that I have to pronounce that every time I refer to you, cunt. Hold on. Let me look at the schedule, and I'll let you know right now what's my next round by round. I will be live Monday at noon for the Z-Cap, so be sure to tune in for that. And then Fight Take. I'm going to have other reporters on. We're going to do it first take style. That should be coming next Tuesday or Wednesday. Z-Cap next Monday. What do we got upcoming? So nothing for me this Saturday. No round by rounds for me this Saturday coming up. Next Saturday, September 15th, I'll be doing a live round by round for Venado Lopez against Joet Gonzalez, Xander Zayas as the co-main event, and then I probably won't be able to do a live round by round for Canelo Charlo because Showtime doesn't like me doing that for their pay-per-views. They feel like it takes too many buys away from the event. I get it. So I'll be in the crowd that night, or in the arena that night, covering Canelo Charlo. But I'll be live all week with insights and analysis from what I see from Fight Week. Those guys will have a media workout between now and then. I'll probably have to take a flight to Texas for Charlo's media day. I'll have to drive up to Tahoe, Nevada to see Canelo. So be on the lookout for those live workouts. We'll try to be live we will be at the workout. If we get good Wi-Fi, we'll be live at both workouts, Canelo and Charlo. And then I'll be live after both workouts to take a film study, take a look at what we see in the media days, and take it from there. But yeah, you guys are awesome, as always. I almost don't want to leave with the chat on fire like that. Doms! Those the Doms! FightHype, we never call fighters bums. No fighters. Even fighters with losing records could whoop your ass. But we don't call them bums, but we do call them Doms. Doms, short for domestic fights. Short for guys that will not win fights outside of the domestic level. So these are a couple of Doms in Chris Eubank and Liam Smith. But oh man, I will stick around another minute or two, see if anybody's got something for me, and I'll call it a day. How did Eubank get approval on the Still Dre song? I mean, I don't see why Dr. Dre would be opposed to it. But GGG or Saunders rematch would be interesting. He never fought GGG, but Saunders rematch, sure. Yeah. He probably beat Saunders now. Saunders is fat and retired. 619 Cali Factor says, I called it and won some money. Shout out, brother. Happy you got some money. Good for you, brother. Any world champions out there that you think Eubank could beat? Says TBR. Let's take a look, shall we? Hold on. One moment. What's up with my mouse here? Okay, here we go. We're good. All right, 1 second, chat. Camera. Let me see if I can hold up. Let me check something right here, chat. And maybe we could check the middleweight rankings real quick. Oh, to hell with it. I'll do it now. Image capture. Add existing. Webcam. Boom. Oh no, I'm too big. Let me be smaller. I want to be smaller. Hold on. I want to be smaller, and I want to be right here. And I'm still too big. I want to be smaller. Now I'm smaller. All right, let's go, chat. Let's go. So, let's take a look at the middleweight rankings real quick. And we'll see. We'll see for ourselves if he could beat any of the champions in middleweight. All right. Undisputed, not today. I'm a little tired. I've been playing a lot of Undisputed. I need a break right now, actually. I'll be back. I'll be Monday. Monday, I'll get some Undisputed in. All right, where's the middleweight rankings? Here we go. I don't think he beats Janibek, but it's a fight. It's a fight. None of these guys are that great that you just gotta count Eubank out based off of how he just looked. I gotta be honest. I'm Italian and German, and I've never seen this Guinea from Germany fight, Vincenzo Gualtieri. The only Gualtieri I honestly know, chat, is Paulie Gualtieri from The Sopranos. I have to watch Vincenzo Gualtieri. I don't imagine he's some unbeatable guy that Chris Eubank can't conceivably possibly beat. Carlos Adames, Jamal Charlo. I think Charlo, when he's right, is the best middleweight in the world. But forget when he's right, when he's fighting. He hasn't fought in over 2 years. So, Lara, that's a good fight. Lara's a smaller guy from 54. His legs aren't what they once were. Eubank could maybe beat him. Eubank could beat any of these guys. I think Janibek would beat him, but he could beat him. None of these guys would blow him out of the water, I think. But I do think Janibek would beat him. Charlo beats him if he is himself, but he hasn't fought in 2.5 years. I haven't seen Vincenzo Gualtieri. I haven't seen Paulie Walnut's nephew fight yet. That's unprofessional of me. So, and then Carlos Adames, I think he could get to Eubank. But then again, Eubank tonight was very rangy and tricky, and Adames isn't tricky. He's come straight forward. So, yeah. So that about does it. Play some Street Fighter 6. I'm not that good at Street Fighter 6. I'm not into Street Fighter 6. I still would rather play Street Fighter Third Strike over Street Fighter 6. But Frank Andrea says you're a great commentator, unbiased. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Susan says, the Suze from Hackney. I'm in. See you on the 15th. See you too, Susan. Thank you for joining today. Super chat, thank you. From Keep It Moving, thank you for the super chat. So does this mean Errol's got a chance with Bud? Right, because I'm acting like Smith was going to beat Eubank again with very dismissive of Chris Eubank Jr., only to be proven wrong. Maybe Keep It Moving, that could happen all over again. Be dismissive of Spence, and he beats Crawford. You know, this is why they fight the fights. Or in football, they say, you know, any given Sunday, this is why they play the game. So yeah, it's a fair point you make. Keep it moving. Boxing, you know, me, myself, covering these fights, especially having respect for each and every fighter, maybe don't be so dismissive of Spence the way I was just dismissive with Chris Eubank Jr. this time around. So, fair point in the super chat. Boxing analyst says Liam Smith has identified as a punching bag. His pronouns are hit and me. I see what you did there. But all right, chat, I think that's about it. You guys have a great rest of the evening, great rest of the weekend. God bless all of you. And I'll see you all, I hope, Monday at noon here on the Z-Cap. Take care. God bless. Go Niners. They shouldn't have traded Trey Lance. And have a good one, everybody. Nothing. Hans is picking Spence in the rematch. He came out with a strong tweet. Fight Take. Tune in to Fight Take. Hans Themistode, my colleague, thinks Spence will win the fight. I was in New York with Hans for the second day of the media tour between Spence and Crawford in New York, LA. I'm in line with a million other reporters with Hans. Hans asked me, who do you think's going to win the fight, man? I say, Crawford by knockout, counterpunching. And he goes, really? By knockout? Nah, I think you tripping, you bugging, you illin'. You know, he got East Coast on me. And I said, okay. Turns out I was right, but Hans, he's doubling back down with Spence again. Let's bring him on Fight Take next week, early next week, and let's have it out, me and Hans Themistone. Shout out to my man Hans. Check out Hans' stuff with Boo Boo Andrade up on the channel recently. Got some great exclusive in the gym footage with him as he probably is prepared for David Benavidez. So much love, everybody. God